Welcome, everybody, to our first match of Group B, our very first day of Apex Challengers Promotions. I'm Wolf. With me is Achilleos, and we already had one upset tonight. In this second match, will the meta be defeated by Rhinos? I'd say it's very unlikely, as Rhinos is not as successful as Runaway was in Apex last season.
Yeah.
But upsets do happen. They happened already earlier tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say, we just got done seeing a bit of an upset. LW Red getting taken down by Runaway. The team that had gated them out of Apex the first time around might have just set them up for failure a second time. And that's going to be a pretty sour taste if you're LW Red. But now it's time to focus on the meta. Another team that has given LW Red a bit of a taste of defeat. A third place team during the first season of Challengers. Now coming in first place undefeated.
Yeah, and here's a look at Group A. Of course, we already had Runaway advance to the winner's match, and the rest of our matches for Group A will be taking place on the 20th, which is tomorrow, Wednesday. It's going to be Space versus Freaka Freaks Red. The winner of that match will face Runaway. The loser will face, of course, LW Red, as you just said. So that's kind of how the group will flow. That's Group A. Of course, we're going into the first match of Group B. This is just a look back. But really good performance by Runaway. Definitely the better team in that best of 5.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we can really discredit them at all for that performance. They played extremely well across the board, but specifically Haksal really showing up on different characters, not just the Genji from him, having a really strong performance across the board, but the team communication seemed to be extremely good. And of course, I gotta give another shout out to Shine with those sleep darts on the Ana, constantly landing those at the most crucial moments. So overall, Runaway looking very strong, and like they might be able to hold on to their spot here at Apex. They just need one more win against the victor of that MVP Space and a Freaka Freaks game that we'll be seeing tomorrow. If they can win that, they will secure their spot.
That's right. That's how this group stage will work. The winner just has to play 2, because you do need 2 best of 5 wins to advance. The loser get another chance to place that final match, the decider match, which will be actually on Friday. That's going to be the final day. We see the last 2 teams get through. Here's Group B. The Meta versus Rhinos Gaming Titan will be our first match. And then, of course, tomorrow, our second match for Group B will be Mighty AOD versus MVP Infinity. We'll see how that one plays out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing how those guys are going to square off. I mean, we get to see Space tomorrow. We'll get to see both of these MVP squads go up against each other, go up in the same day. Infinity definitely looking like they're going to be the stronger of those 2 teams, those sister teams, but you never know. We don't know what Space has been doing in this off time. They haven't been playing in Apex for quite some time. The meta has taken a huge shift, so for all we know, they could be just as strong as Runaway.
Yeah. As I was saying before, I really feel like when you look at MVP, they're a really good scouting organization. That's what they're known for, is finding the best teams in a new esport. And I do feel that with the coaching staff they have and the people that have been working in this industry in Korea for several years, that team should look better than it did at the beginning of Apex. But it's hard to just say that. I can't put that out as fact. I can't tell you guys they will be better, but it just stands to reason they should be. Going into this for Rhinos, they're a team that don't have that same backing. In fact, had a very weak performance in Apex. And so they're definitely the underdogs going into this series.
I think you could say that. They're one of our winless teams, one of our, I think, 2 winless teams that we had in Apex this last split. 0-3. They only won 2 of the maps in those sets, so they lost 9 maps across their entire season. So got knocked out very early on for 4th place in Group A. But at the same time, they had a bit of a rough group laid out for them. It was Rogue, Afrika Blue, and Flashlux. Flashlux, obviously, the weakest of those 3. So we don't really know much about Rhino because of the stiff competition that they had during the regular season. But speaking of stiff competition, we have the Meta who will be taking them on in this best of 5.
The Meta is a team that, with such great performances in Challenger, gained a lot of fans. I didn't describe the signs we had in the audience earlier, but they're almost all Meta fans here. And the Meta is a team that hasn't been able to play on the big stage yet, but has done well in Challenger, and as a result has gained many fans. And this is a scene that's growing so quickly that even playing in Challenger can make you a famous team. And the Meta, of course, no international experience. But a loss here would definitely hurt their confidence, I'd say. But I don't imagine that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing that there's some fans of the meta because I know a lot of people are sick and tired of quad tank, triple tank.
Oh, you got me there.
Yeah, it was a play on words. No, but this team really is a powerhouse. They're the one team that ended the win streak of LW Red during the second season of Challenger. Because up until that point, they were undefeated. Meta ending the split 11-0. They themselves being undefeated 33-5 in their map win-loss ratio. So these guys, they're certainly on top of the meta, and they are damn good mechanically.
Rhinos Gaming Titan on the other side of things. Norg that stayed together here as, it's tough to have yourself get bashed that hard and actually remain together and try to give it one more shot to remain in Apex. Bamboo is the most famous player on the team in this shot caller and support, and has a few fangirls in the crowd right now. Claris as well, not a bad Pharah player, but will Pharah really find a place in this meta? That's the real question here.
I mean, we saw it on Eichenwald. It did come out, but it didn't really stick around for too long. Kind of saw it locked in and then swapped off of very quickly.
Yeah, not even getting to see a rocket barrage.
Yeah, I think it was cockslocking that one and didn't even hit the point to where he could get the ultimate out. So I don't think we'll be seeing the Pharah come out. You never know, though. We could see the pharmacy come through. We haven't had any mercies today, but we did see a few in IAM. So there is a very niche spot for those picks to come out in the current meta. But what with Soldier being as strong as he is, McCree, of course, ever present, it just makes it tough to be able to run that Pharah reliably.
Based on what we've seen from this team so far, I imagine Claris will be the player playing that Soldier. So we'll see how well he can adapt to this meta right now, as they are definitely the underdogs, and they have to know this and have a plan in mind. Not going to be an easy best of 5 here. And I think, for this, if you're on the side of the meta, you want to win this 3-0. You want to show as little as possible going into that winner's match. So I think they're going to be looking to go pretty try-hard, if you will, in this best of 5. Now, here are our maps. It's going to be Nepal this time for control point on set number 1.
All right, we saw Lijiang Tower last time. We get Nepal this time around. I'm sure some people out there will be happy that we're not starting things off with Ilios, but we'll be able to dive into this and we'll see which one we're going to get, whether it's going to be Village, Sanctum, or Shrine to kick things off. But we weren't sure how LW and Runaway were going to be coming into that one on the King of the Hill maps. It looked pretty even, actually. I think that if we had some more King of the Hill in this tournament, we might not have seen a 3-0 in favor of Runaway, because LW looked like they could contest in that regard. But now we're going to have to see how Rhinos and the meta handle this.
That we will. Let's see exactly how this best of 3 finds out. This is the OGN format, best of 3s on control points. My favorite being the Sanctum. We see tiebreakers decided as well, so a lot of extra practice on that one, as we do see some tiebreakers in other regions with different map formats. But guys, let's jump into game number 1 on Nepal.
Get it?
Here we go, set number 1 on Nepal.
We've gotten it every single time.
Yes.
Feels good, man. It's times where you're watching and sometimes you just don't get it. But
we get it.
It's been a very successful night tonight for getting it, Wolf.
Yeah, and I hope we continue to get it for the remainder of this week. We've got a pretty high getting it rate at this point. Now, as we go into Sanctum here, we're going to see Lucio, of course, pretty much required on a lot of maps. He's the highest played hero right now. but very useful on this map because of his ability to knock people off of the point. We're going to see this contested here in the neutral point right now. A wall goes down. Umte already killed. A Saya player finding a lot of damage.
Yeah, this is going to be a really aggressive push up this right side from both teams. Usually we see a bit more of a standoff coming through, but already kills exchanged on both sides, but that's going to give Rhinos Gaming Titan the edge and just the fast track to move over and get onto the point, so they will have that first cap. We'll see how long they're going to be able to hold it here. It's going to be a risky composition, not one that we usually see coming out, from the side of the meta. Running that 2-tank double DPS. And speaking of DPS, here comes Saya player. Already has that visor up with the nano boost. Going to find 2 kills pretty swiftly off the bat. A retake comes through already, just 17% for Rhinos as meta takes over.
He wasn't able to really find that many picks early on, which gave Bamboo a slight lead on his sound barrier, but just a little bit more of his meter meant that he had the attack visor first, and that's all that matters, when it comes down to that first exchange, with Claris not being in position to deny. So very well done, and now they're going to try to hold this edge using the ice walls here. Successful so far. We see the Blizzard come down and Graviton Surge as well, keeping Rhinos Gaming Titan out of the Sanctum. And
wow.
A nice hold there. J2 not even having to use the Earth Shatter.
Yeah, 5 kills picked up so quickly, just a matter of seconds. Munchkin the only one not going down in that Graviton Surge exchange. Almost a team kill there for the meta. And they're just going to be comfortable to keep holding right here in the front. You can see Libero going to try to cut somebody off. That will be the self-destruct from the sidelines, but Claris is not going to find anybody, and meta, they're just going to keep running down members of Rhino. 3 already dead, about to make that 4. There it is, as Claris does fall, and meta, they are holding strong right at this choke.
This is a really frustrating position. The self-destruct usually at least give you control of the doorway. They weren't even able to find that, so now the only ults they really have are Munchkin's Tac Visor with Nano Boost. But guess what? When you can't get through a choke point, what's Tac Visor going to do for you? You can't even get vision of anyone to hit. The Reinhardt wall is on top, but they're going to try to attempt to get through here. We just see a nice biotic grenade go down.
Yeah, a little bit late on that wall, so won't be able to really isolate anybody in that much, and getting his Tac Visor up, going to be waiting for Libero to come out of that ice block, but he has the wall there to deny a few more shots coming through. He'll get a couple kills, and now Saya player, he's going to throw up a Tac Visor of his own, already takes out Munchkin, matching that soldier, helps finish off the Roadhog and Claris, and this is just going to be
very nearly a wipe. Yeah, I mean, this is just a superior outplay in every way. Coming in here as well, Graviton Surge dropping down, and that is a full 100-0 by the meta, and they held that choke point. Surprised that with the, they were unable to stop the attack visor from going off by Rhino because the wall wasn't timed perfectly. They got through one time, but they still weren't able to get the picks they needed. At least got to combine the nano boost with the attack visor, but the positioning, the outplay, it was there by the meta, and then they saved Sayahoon's attack visor. He's able to clean up house, and it was a desperate last attempt push by Rhinos that was destined to fail, and Claris hit his self-destruct, didn't find value, was totally wasted there, and this is not a good start, to be blunt with you, Achilleos.
No, it is not. That is definitely one that can completely shatter you mentally if you're Rhinos Gaming Titan. Getting stomped out like that, get the first cap, make it to 17%, and then meta just rides it all the way to 100. That is not how you want things to go. A good wall coming out so far from Claris, cutting off a couple of the members of meta, stopping them from getting out here and joining their team, but already the first kill's coming through, and meta, they're going to start running away with this.
Claris,
J2 might be getting picked, though.
Yeah, Claris is going to help pick J2 there. Misses a few of those right clicks, though, unfortunately. Could have picked him off a bit sooner. As Saya players coming in, picks off Levi. Does die there to the Helix Rocket of Munchkin. Nicely shot there. And again, the meta going to take control of this first point after that exchange. Just by positional favoring there. It was pretty even on the picks.
Yeah, that's going to be a really strong start here from meta. We'll see if they're going to be able to hold it again from 0 to 100. You can see Rhino's already wrapping around the opposite side. They have the wall thrown down, isolating a couple members of meta. They will find J2 and take him out. So this might be Rhinos just exchanging back on the point, and will. 22% coming through from meta, so not a whole lot picked up from them. And Rhinos are going to get several kills out, and that is going to send meta back towards the spawn. They'll have to rejoin and recuperate and try to come back in for a push, but this gives a very strong high ground advantage over to Rhinos.
Very true. The high ground advantage here is super important. Not only that, but they have overall an ult advantage on all their charges, with the exception of Saya player having pulse grenade.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Yep, 2 picks. In fact, Chris and NUS go down. Saya player still has his pulse grenade. Huge earth shatter here, but nothing to follow it up. And there's the pick off there on the Saya player. Claris does hit that right click this time. And the hold continues for Rhinos Gaming.
Yep, gets taken out. Now the Graviton Surge is available. They have that Blizzard coming up here, as well as the Nano Boost. And Umte has his Earth Shatter. So Rhinos have basically every zone control ultimate that they could possibly want.
Oh, and they're going to actually block out the Reinhardt here. Blizzard coming down as well.
Blizzards. Just 2 on top of each other. Graviton Surge is going to get them a little bit of profit, but now the Nano Boost coming out onto Umte. See how much he can get done. The answer is a hell of a lot. Finds the Flame Strike straight into the back of J2 after smacking Chris out of the sky. He'll get Libero just for good measure, and Rhinos look like they might be the ones holding this 0 to 100.
Absolutely. It's tough when you have the comp that the meta is running to try to break through that choke point with the ice wall. They don't have that much mobility. They're not even running D.Va right now, and with the high ground controlled by Rhinos right now, without a D.Va, you don't have that much absorption. Yeah, J2 can hold his shield up, but it only has 2,000 hit points. Once it's gone, you don't have much. They're going to try to come on the high ground here. Here comes a dash attempt, but it gets blocked. In fact, JU in the air.
Yeah.
That means he can't pair this with Earth Shatter.
Yeah, and that's going to be crucial. You see the Graviton Surge come through, but it's not going to find any profit whatsoever for meta. In fact, they're the ones losing members. They are able to retreat and push back into the point faster than Rhinos can, so this might give them a little bit of an edge. The wall comes through. It's not really going to block anybody off. Slightly positioned incorrectly by Libero. And now it's going to be a Mayoff, but he has to go into the ice block. And Rhinos, they look like they might be able to win this one. They're much healthier than their counterparts in the meta. And Umte, he's got his Earth Shatter back up.
Yes, he does, and that may be exactly what they need. Saya player, though, gets 2 picks on Levi and Benny. And he get more? No, he will not. And there's the Graviton Surge by Munchkin to try to secure this last end of the point. 12 seconds to go. And Rhinos taking this back here. Player's going to try to delay. It's going to be nigh impossible for the meta to get through here in time. They don't have the mobility to do it. Here comes one shielded Tracer attempt. They come in together.
But they already have the Blizzard coming down, and Claris is able to pick off an US and Hoon, as well as Chris, as Munchkin finds that kill. They do a match with the Blizzard of their own, but they haven't been able to find any kills. Now it's just Libero left alive, sticking in the ice block, trying to buy as much time as he can, but there's some right clicks available for him. Oh, actually, Munchkin lobbing the energy bomb onto his face. They take him out, and Rhinos, they'll go ahead and tie this up 1-1 on our first map.
There you go, taking the momentum back. I was worried after the first set that this might be not a close series result. This is going to be one-sided. Well, that 100-0 there in the total control. But in this game, kind of reverse case, not as one-sided, but Rhinos does control the high ground. And the meta didn't answer with a D.Va. They only had J2 on Reinhardt to try to give them the space to push through. They were successful once the ice walls went down and trying to get through, but they weren't efficient with it. And that's part of the issue, the composition they chose. There was also the time that J2 got caught in the air when there was a perfect Graviton Surge by Hoon, but J2 couldn't pair it with the Earth Shatter to get a wipe there. That would have been an amazing opportunity, but was not meant to be.
No, it's not, but we'll go ahead and move over Shrine and see how these teams fare. Both, of course, just going to be charging up the front of their respective staircases and now pushing off onto that left-hand side.
Saya player playing some McCree here, not as common to see right now in this meta. We'll see if he can actually make it work. Very flashy, high risk, high reward here right now. Does get caught here by Munchkin, but gets the flashbang, so trades 1 for 1.
Yeah, a really good headshot coming through, but in the end, he loses his life anyway. And that might give the upper hand to Rhinos, who currently just have 4 members alive. Libero is going to try to buy some time and contest this point by sitting in the corner. But there's just nowhere for him to go once that wall comes down. The Claris picks him off, and Rhinos, they'll claim the first point yet again, or the first capture, I should say.
Yep, going to hold it for the time being. And both charges here fairly similar, but a slight lead on the side of Rhinos. They have this position advantage. They're not going to try to do what the meta did on Sanctum, though, and control the choke point. They rather would like to hold the shrine itself from the high ground. We see a big hook here onto Fenny. Bubble comes up to keep him alive right away, but he still will lose the mech.
Yeah, that could be a bit rough. Actually, looks like he might have been able to hold on to that.
Yeah, just barely, it looks like.
Yeah, Umte taking out Libero. Big Graviton Surge coming through. Do they have the Pulse Bomb to follow up? I think he got it right at the end, yeah, from Munchkin. Able to take out Saya player who swapped over to that Roadhog after losing his life on McCree. And Rhinos, they hold firm, now 40%. Meta looking like they're struggling after that dominant start.
Yeah, A big turnaround here, and that was only the Graviton Surge really that used. They didn't even have to use Sound Barrier to get that or self-destruct. Umte still has the Earth Shatter, so they have nice defensive setups here. Again, here's the counter Graviton Surge attempt. Ice Wall denying it completely here. I don't know why I said that. I thought there was one, but there was not. My apologies. No Graviton Surge there.
They do have that. Coming down to the hook onto the self-destruct. I don't think you want that one.
No, luckily it did not get pulled through. Yeah, that would have been on the Overwatch subreddit for sure.
Yeah, doesn't kill himself by way of D.Va self-destruct. Pulse Bomb will come down, but not going to find anybody. Here is Munchkin, but he is still just ripping through NUS, trying to get rid of these healers, and he's going to do just that. Both of them down now. No one there to try to keep the meta alive.
Munchkin is on fire right now, and I'm not just talking about in-game. He's playing very well on this Tracer, finding out these weakened targets, always on the chase. And we're getting very close to this capture here. 5 seconds to go. No ults on the side of the meta. They're going to do a Hail Mary here. Saya player trying to sneak from the back and get a pick. Looks unlikely. Levi hits him as well, has to recall. Trying to distract with this harass. Overtime has started. The Saya player is down. Here's the self-destruct.
That's coming through. Not going to find. Actually, does find Chris with a pop. Umte is able to take out J2, and that is just going to be Rhinos sweeping through the meta by the look of things. They have to just kind of sit on top of the point as best as they can, as it's now in overtime. They haven't been able to get a single cap, a single percentage, and with the death of NUS, that is going to be Rhinos claiming our first map, going up 1-0 here. So meta, after a very strong start, really faltering in those last 2 maps on the ball.
Yeah, really good control of the zone, of the shrine itself, the top part there. Not trying to stop the choke point as we saw again, the meta do. It's a much larger choke point to hold on this map, but we really just saw Munchkin run away with that game. He got so many picks, his harass was so much more successful than Saya players. And something I've noticed that we're not seeing on the side of the meta is much D.Va play. And D.Va definitely very strong right now. He's going to be one of the strongest heroes in the meta as far as impact goes. Not, as necessary as, say, a Lucio, but so important for damage mitigation. And they're not always running her, and it's causing them to lose a lot of health before they arrive on these points.
I mean, even off that point, Lucio we've seen foregone a couple times, more so than the D.Va we saw at IEM. A couple teams running solo heal with a quad tank and DPS, or with 3 heals double DPS. So we've seen that getting mixed up a little bit. But the D.Va has always been the consistent hero on these loadouts. Very rarely can you forego her in the current state of the game. So it's really shocking that a team called the meta would not be running the most definitive champion in this meta.
Maybe perhaps, Aquilios, they're trying to be meta. They're trying to take it a step further. We're going to see King's Row for the first time tonight.
They should stop doing that.
I think they should. Well, here comes King's Row, one of our hybrid maps. And this should be an exciting one to see, as I've really only seen these 2 teams on control point so far. It was a fairly even series.
Yeah, and this is going to be another map where the choke points really could define things for the meta if they're going to play up to those. We'll have to see if they're going to be on the attack or the defense side. But, right off the bat, just past bus, you have to worry about that choke point coming through the gate. Granted, you can wrap through the building, come down the right-hand side and try to get a flank off. But it's really going to be that front entry point into the first point that they're going to have to try to push through. So if meta can play the way that they did on the first map of Nepal, on Sanctum, then they might have some success here on King's Row, as well as when you start winding through the Foundry. There's a lot of narrow passageways that they can take advantage of. So we'll have to see how they're going to play this out.
That's right. Let's go into King's Row for map number 2.
I get it.
All right, King's Row, starting things off here, and that early choke point you were describing is going to be where the meta will make their first defense here. And so far, not running the Mei, so not really going to be committing as much to that sort of ice wall, choke point hold, where they force Rhinos to kind of stream in one by one. I feel like part of the reason why they had success with that on Sanctum was because Rhinos was so far behind, and then they, of course, were trying to force even their first control on that map, and they're a bit more desperate. Rhinos will be able to play this a little more patiently, and you can fly over the wall as well with certain heroes.
Yeah, and I mean, the way that map turned out also could have been changed completely by Claris's self-destruct when they were being held. If he had actually gotten that into a good position and pushed the meta back, then maybe they would have been able to have a retake and a couple kills and not just give up, 0 to 100 push on that point. So, see how this is going to play out. The meta, of course, is going to be running that triple tank with 1 DPS Saya player coming in on the Soldier. But like you mentioned, the Mei not going to be present for them to hold at this choke, and you can see this is already going to be Rhinos pushing forward around Statue.
Yeah. Benny's looking for the pick on Saya player. He knows he's likely to start from the high ground, as you can see up there, right in the center. He misses the hook, though, unable to get that. J2 does get taken out here already, though. Pretty successful pick. But Chris is going to be the next to fall as we see kills traded on both sides. Nice biotic grenade there to keep D.Va alive. Benny unable to self-heal. Somehow escaping to get his self-heal. Laris goes down here, and Hoon already has a Graviton Surge.
Yeah, he ran his way right back to the Alderworth. Managed to make it out alive, but barely so. But that will stop Rhinos Gaming. Weren't able to get really any cap going on that first point. Couldn't get any of the checkpoints. And like you mentioned, the Graviton Surge already up for Hoon, and he's going to throw that down. Locks up all the members. Beautiful biotic grenade coming through, and that is just going to be nearly a team kill picked up by the meta.
Very successful Graviton Surge there, and Hoon, very happy with himself, going to continue to lob and try to build up another one. Very impressive play, and Fenny tried to get the hooks, was really basically unsuccessful on grabbing Saya player, who allowed, he's already basically up to his attack visor as well. We see the self-destruct going down. Hoon gets another pick, NUS, and that kills well. He's been super on point with his Graviton grenade, excuse me, his bionic grenades. Biotic. Too many terms here. So, another hold here for the meta, and Saya player not having to use his attack visor. And I like the Roadhog as a concept, but if it doesn't get any picks here, even Whole Hog doesn't seem that useful. It might be time to switch off, as the positioning is just too good right now for the meta.
Yeah, and I mean, this is one of those things where, like, if you could set up something like the Graviton Surge into the Whole Hog and just pump round after round into the enemy team, then you'll have a good bit of damage, but they haven't been able to find that opportunity yet. Double Graviton Surge coming through into the Earth Shatters, knocking down where they can. Saya player, he's going to pop that visor, but has to think better of it as the self-destruct comes through from Claris.
Very well done.
He has to run back to the side, and that wastes a lot of time on his ultimate. Now he gets chased down. Claris finding the kill. It's going to be a huge pickoff from him, the 1 DPS member of meta falling. Now Hoon going down. Nice hook in onto J2. He falls, and it's really just going to be Libero left, and he will fall as well. The Roadhog finally getting some kills on the board, and that will be the cap coming through at about just above a minute for Rhinos Gaming.
There you have it. Very impressive play there by Claris to basically nullify completely Saya player, then kill him, removing that high ground threat of damage. Coming back into the fight himself. Also, Umte is positioning as well to deny the last part of the attack visor minute. Got no value before he died. And they still control the high ground here, but we're about to get through.
Yeah, this is a little bit bold here from the side of meta. They're going to keep trying to push and keep him contained around this payload. Charge coming through onto that D.Va ultimate. Umte going to pay with that one for his life. Libero comes up with a double kill as he pops Munchkin as well. They will clean out 4 members of Rhinos Gaming. So meta, really good hold, really aggressive. I thought that they would play back, around the corner, but decide to go straight back onto the payload, and it pays off for them.
All right, Graviton Surge is available here for Munchkin, but nothing to pair it with just yet. Umte very far away from Earth Shatter. We don't yet have Nano Boost. We're getting much closer. Good sleep here. And there's the Graviton Surge attempt by Munchkin. Gets a nice one here, but it's mostly denied by the shield. Huge biotic grenade yet again from NUS. He's been really good with those this game. Hoon goes down regardless. 2 for 1 in favor of Rhinos.
Yeah, and this is where things get a little bit shaky, losing 3 members on your side. This could be a very strong push coming out from Rhinos. You can see Claris has just been sitting on this the whole time, and they're going to start working this up and around the corner, closer and closer to the Foundry, and that second checkpoint.
Claire's getting some harass as well, helping zone as they're going to get around this corner, as you mentioned. And Claire still has his self-destruct, and Umte now has that Earth Shatter, not with a Graviton Surge, but he can use that for another big push. Here's the Graviton Surge of Hoon, but no follow-up.
Yeah, Umte gets sucked in, has that Reinhardt shield there to block a lot of the damage and just really mitigate for his team. Saya player try to poke out, has that attack visor, but he's not going up to the high ground quite yet, which is a little interesting to see. Thought that he would be playing up onto the walkway, but has been just sitting on the ground.
And I think that's part of the reason why is because Claris has been on him non-stop. NUS dumps out another biotic grenade there. Actually survives for so long, finally gets taken out. Munchkin pushing forward here as much as he can. Here's Whole Hog coming out from Fenny. Unable to get any kills there. That's called push and zone off. There's a nice hook though onto Chris. And they're going to get around this tough corner. Graviton Surge used yet again on the Saya player. And J2, Libero from the high ground kind of denying some of that damage.
Yeah, it was a little bit of an interesting ult there from the Zarya. Not sure if he wanted to just try to pull them away so they can push up the payload, but either way, it works out for Rhinos Gaming. So the Graviton Surge not the key factor in them getting those kills, but they're able to pick them up in the end as well. Anyway, and Umte, he's got that Earth Shatter ready to go. You can see the sound barrier from Bamboo could be pulled out at any time. But they still have to be worried about Saya player on this soldier.
Exactly. Sound barrier definitely going to be something that helps Saya player actually commit to getting into position, to actually finding that damage. Self-destruct dropped out super early here.
Oh.
Gets 2 kills with it though. But oh, Saya player gets hooked into the ground. Dies to Fenny there.
Yeah, but they get the poop off there from Chris, knocking Fenny away as well. So he will avenge the death of Saya player. And now, again, meta. You know, they win a fight, they get a couple of picks, they push really aggressively forward, and now Hoon, or Shatter comes through. He's not going to go down yet. It's going to be the sound barrier coming through on both sides, protecting them out. Claris still has that self-destruct. We'll see if he wants to toss it or hold on to it. He is going quite low. Graviton Surge coming out. He's going to jet his way out of there. And Rhinos, they're getting shredded out. Claris will be able to pick off Chris in the back line, but Hoon answering a kill onto Fenny. Yeah. And it's just going to be a bit of a brawl right here on top of the payload.
Sleep dart coming down here onto D.Va, but she will still escape. Toughest target to kill next to Tracer. Even tougher, I guess, to really consider her abilities and movement options. And this point will get pushed back significantly here. Rhinos finally losing some of their momentum. Oh, Graviton Surge used, but Reinhardt not able to get into the fight. Hoon gets his own nano boost here as well. Munchkin drops down a Graviton Surge, but nothing comes of it. Umte charges in for the pick, but he will likely go down as well, now out of position.
He's able to find Saya player, though, and that's going to be a really crucial one to take out. Munchkin does go down. NUS gets the kill onto Umte, and with 45 seconds left, this is going to be looking a little bit rough for Rhinos Gaming. Don't have many ultimates, 70 or 80% now on Umte for that Reinhardt, the Earth Shatter, and Fenny will have his, but this is not exactly the best combination of ultimates that you want.
Yeah, and Hoon has Graviton Surge. Libero has the self-destruct. Here's the Graviton Surge. They may pair it with the self-destruct. They will attempt to. Gonna have some anti-synergy there overall, but 2 picks already for the meta here, and that will be it. No way Rhinos will be able to secure this point. They've got 15 seconds left. Claire is going to try to come in and secure the overtime already found by Libero here. They are just zoning him out.
I mean, honestly, that was really well played with the Graviton Surge. Sure that you don't get the damage from the self-destruct, but it was enough for the Reinhardt to turn away, and then they get this massive hit on the Rhinos and just pump round after round into their backs and take them out. Now it's just going to be down to Rhinos trying to hold on for dear life, but Fenny's the only one left. That's going to be the team kill coming through right at the end. And in overtime, meta, they will hold.
And it turns out, you know, in this matchup specifically, what we're seeing between these two teams, Zarya much more important. Starting off on the ball, sometimes these fights are won and decided by the Graviton Surge usage. So how well the teams react to that, getting the Reinhardt that's in the Surge to face the correct direction with his shield, or to see the sound barrier come down, or even a D.Va to come out and actually drop down that defensive self-destruct. That's kind of been the story of how well these pushes have been gone. It seems like every single time we saw a big push from Rhinos, it was always because they were able to get that super huge Graviton Surge by Munchkin. So something to look forward to going into this next counterwise is can Hoon do the same when they're on attack?
Yeah, and I mean, this is a bit of a different shift compared to what we saw in our first set. The Zarya, not really something that was prioritized by either side. We saw it swapped in and out a couple times, but it seems like this is going to be a really massive pick for meta coming through, you know, more so than the D.Va. Granted, we did see it. It was some pretty strong play from them in that last game, but the Zarya was really the most impactful hero that they brought to the table.
Well, Munchkin's going to be switching to Soldier for the time being here early on. We'll see if meta decides to run the same Roadhog to try to pick him off. This Widowmaker likely just using for scouting. We have seen some Widowmaker usage on this map. Pretty rare.
I mean, sometimes you can go for those, you know, those entry picks here because you immediately have the high ground. You've got a pretty good view around toward the first point, mostly around statue. Not so much around that corner, but you could always move over to the theater on that balcony to try to get a couple picks. It is a little bit risky, but granted, you're at least close to home, so you can go back and swap out if need be. So we'll see if Saya wants to stick with it. Likely going to see him swap in or swap out, but actually no, he's going to hold it for now.
Okay, really looking for something here. Can also be used to, you know, chunk down a Reinhardt shield, which it looks like that's what he's just going to be using for initially here. Looking for picks, but can't find any, so just trying to damage that shield to help the push. But, you know, any other reliable DPS could basically do the same. And we saw actually at IEM teams use this with Mercy for boosting for damage, but without that, still no success, and may in fact go back to swap pretty soon.
Oh, well, I think he was going back to swap, but with Rhinos moving forward up to this choke, I think he says, you know what, I have a decent angle because the rest of my team is kind of coming around the back of the point, pushing them towards me, so maybe I can line up some shots. Speaking of which, it's going to be Munchkin firing off from the base of the statue, trying to get through this line of the meta, but they'll be able to find one kill on the J2, but almost a team kill coming out on a Rhinos. There we go. That'll be the last one, and the meta, they're going to get a very swift push onto this first point and get that payload rolling just under 3 minutes.
What's really interesting is Libero's running McCree here. It's so tough to get in there and get on top of him to stop him when you've got this support from Saya players. Widowmaker gets a nice shot there onto Fenny as well early on here. Very aggressive. I wouldn't say massively successful, but really getting kills, but very successful at helping to zone. And we'll go ahead and use his infrared here to try to get vision for his teammates and everyone's positioning. See if he can get this snipe again onto Munchkin. So far unsuccessful.
Yeah, they're not going to really push around that corner, so he has to move up, and this is going to be, you know, where it gets really risky for a Widowmaker, because you don't really want to have to move that far up to get a peek on the enemy. You see, though, that's going to be the Nano Boost coming out onto Libero, picks up a swift 2 kills. He takes out the tanky front line of Rhinos. Umte and Claris going down. Help finish off Fenny in the end as well. Saya trying to get that shot in onto Bamboo. We'll shoot him in the back and he get the last shot.
Oh.
There it is. Oh, it's Libero actually from the sidelines coming in. Takes out both healers as Levy and Bamboo go down.
He's constantly able to get vision with these moves too. He's working on the Reinhardt shield. He's also allowing his team to know if any swaps have been made. And here comes the Deadeye from Libero. Big block so far. Claris jumps in. In fact, there's a biotic grenade to keep him alive. And Saya player picks up too. Libero gets the kill finally there onto Umte, and the meta is pushing this so fast. They have such a great time right now. They're about to get that second point with about 6 minutes to spare.
Oh
my God.
He is just starting to pop off on this Widowmaker, and you can see right there, the square on the ground. They don't have to move this very far at all. 33 meters for meta to take this map and tie us up in a 1-for-1. Saya just keeping everybody stuck around the corner as behind the Reinhardt shield. Won't be able to get that shot in onto the Winston. That's going to be the Nano Boost used out onto Munchkin, who has that attack visor up, but he's not getting a whole lot of damage in. Knocks J2 down pretty low, but the shield comes through, and that'll keep him healthy from now. Nice Graviton Surge, and they'll rip through him, but Umte actually still pushing forward, getting boosted up with that HP.
Ooh, nice block here. Libero actually goes down, and Rhinos will hold for the time being. Very impressive play there at the end by Ryan to take Libero out. Maybe a bit too aggressive there. I think they thought that was a 1 point. Continue to push. They're going to have to regroup now. Deadeye is still available. Very difficult to use in this position, though, because they're going around a corner. There's not much protection.
Yeah, he has to kind of go to the high ground. He's actually going to pop and just sit behind the Reinhardt shield looking for a shot, but you have a D.Va with the right click held up as well as that Reinhardt shield, so Libero is going to have to just go ahead, let go of it, won't get any profit, but a big Earth Shatter coming through, charging in. Now is J2 just shoving them back. They only need a couple more yards, 5 yards in fact, to take this map, but the payload not moving yet. Claris is swapped over to the main. He's trying to hold as best as he can. Attack bites are used by Munchkin. Really poor decision there as he's just going to lose that cooldown, but Rhinos, they still are able to hold in the end.
Very desperate attack visor, I'd say. In any other case of time, I'd say it's very well worth it. You're so desperate with 4 minutes still left on the clock. I have to agree with you that I think that was definitely a bit overzealous here. We're going to see another 6-man push here for the meta. No ultimates available. They're going to have to try to poke and gain charge. And in this position where the payload is, it's tough to actually poke because you have to go around a corner. So building ults here is very difficult.
Yeah, and you're also playing into this Roadhog. So, you know, if they throw that self-destruct, the Reinhardt shield has to turn around suddenly. You get the hook. Saya player already finding one on the Umte. Because you know what, I'm not going to play that Widowmaker anymore. Self-destruct comes through, but it's not really in a position to find any targets. So going to be a bit of a whiff there from Fenny. But Rhinos, they still are able to push back the meta, finding 3 kills.
They're going to have
building up their ultimates themselves.
They're going to have to do this 5 or 6 more times, essentially. They have, you know, with this really hard hold, push the payload back. I mean, it does naturally roll back, so it's rolled back significantly here, which is now at a point where it's a little bit easier for the meta to try to poke and get their meters full. Hoon is so close to grabbing on surge. Libero going to drop down another Deadeye here. Could pick Fenny. Doesn't want to, of course, in the D.Va suit. And does eventually kill Umte. Here's a sound barrier.
Yeah, sound barrier is out, but so is the Blizzard from Claris, trying to lock up as many members as he can. He's going to find Chris, who gets taken out by Fenny, just charging forward with that mech suit. It burns him out, and now Munchkin with another attack visor, looking for Saya player, is able to take him out. It's those Helix rockets, and it looks like that's going to be NUS falling as well. No, gets that shield from the Zarya. Never mind, Umte pushing forward, swings in with the hammer, and takes out the Ana, and that's just going to be Rhino successfully staggering these spawns from the meta.
Absolutely, they need to come together, and they need to have their ult synergy. I think perhaps this McCree is no longer a very valuable pick. He's using it as a zoning tool, right? The Deadeye forces everyone to move back. They're hoping to gain some, meters of pushing during that moment. Claris here waiting for an ice wall, puts it up here.
Yeah, but he doesn't get the disconnect from the rest of meta like he would like. It's going to be a very nice Earth Shatter, though, and they just absolutely clean up the meta. Chris and Saya player, the only 2 alive.
Yeah, this is
they have no hope. They have to just hightail it out of there. A minute and a half left on the clock. This has been a really successful hold for Rhinos.
It looks like Libero's going to try one more Deadeye. Hoon has Graviton Surge. J2 has the Earth Shatter. This is going to be their last ditch attempt. They may have one try after that one Hail Mary, but this is going to be really the push they're looking for to seal the deal.
I just don't know what they're hoping for. There's a D.Va, there's a Reinhardt shield. They need a Graviton Surge into the Deadeye, but with that many defensive tools, it might not work out. Hoon, though, pushing forward, trying to melt through this D.Va mech. Self-destruct coming through, and that's going to send the meta scattering. J2 is able to throw up the shield and keep himself alive, but Hoon goes down. Nuts goes down. Chris maybe falling, but gets the poop onto Claris at the last second.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they needed more. Deadeye's still available here. 49 seconds to go. And, all they have is Nano Boost and Deadeye. They're going to have in a moment Tac Visor. They need to build it really quick here around this corner. And Sound Barrier, if they had that, if the Earth Shatter, if they had it, they're so close to having these, but 30 seconds left on the clock. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to try to push with them.
Yeah,
here comes the Deadeye.
Push back through, yet that eye is up, and the Reinhardt shield is there to block, as is D.Va. Holding down that right click, won't find anything, and now Libero's just going to get charged on. It's going to be the Blizzard coming down, but it's not really going to lock anybody up. Nano Boost comes through, but it doesn't matter. Munchkin gets taken out by Saya player with his own Tac Visor. Penny gonna lose the suit. Can they take him out? Looks like they can, and that might just be the push finally coming through from Meta. They're able to get Bamboo in midair. Umte goes down, and that should finally be it. Meta just a couple meters away if they can find it. 2 meters, there we go. They will push beyond Rhinos, and they will tie us up 1-1 as they take map 2.
1.6 seconds left on the clock for that push, and it's really important they got that pick onto Fenny. Once the barrier comes down, the defense matrix goes down, it becomes an easy Tac Visor push. The sound barrier I was talking about, once they get that, they can make this push work. Then suddenly they have Earth Shatter as well. All these ults start coming online. They got that momentum that they sorely needed. Close call there. for the meta, but they do take this. We are tied up 1 apiece here. And we saw some pretty non-meta picks with the Widowmaker and the McCree, really using them as zoning tools. When you think about highlight reels of McCree's, when you think about the Bong 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 song, you know, when you think about Widowmaker, you think, okay, I want to see that Taimu clip again. I want to see, you know, the top page of Reddit, that Deadeye that killed 6. But actually, in pro play, Deadeye just forces everyone to move, the same way Self-Destruct forces everyone to move, and Widowmaker's presence there forcing everyone to kind of move back, allowing the ground push to actually succeed. So a different approach here from meta at far range, and I think that really, they hit this wall, quite literally on the corner, where that approach didn't work out for them anymore. But guys, we are going to take a short commercial break before we return with game number 3. See you in just a few. welcome back everybody to the OGN Apex Challengers Promotions as we are in our third map of our first match of Group B. We're tied 1-1 with the Meta and Rhinos Gaming Titan. Very close match we just watched on King's Row with 1.6 seconds left. The Meta took it, tied up the series, and we're going to Volskaya.
Okay. Well, we didn't see Temple of Anubis in our first best of 5 of the day. Now we're going to be moving on to Volskaya Industries. So another 2-point capture. And this one's a bit of an interesting one as far as the layout of the map goes. Really long run backs for the attacking team. Once you get past that first point, and then really long run backs as well for that defending team on the first. So this could be a bit interesting. Opener of this map. Depending on how the attacking team is able to take the point, might just lead into a snowball and a 2-point take, or we might just have some really long standoffs.
Yeah, Volskaya is a quick first point cap, second point. Sometimes you never see it in a series. We see a lot of ties on this map, and it's really because the second point, the long run back you talked about. Also, there's so many catwalks, so many high ground defensive positions. It's difficult to engage on and get picks. Guys, we're going to go into this third map between the Meta and Rhinos Gaming Titan right here, right now.
I get it.
Volskaya Industries, Rhinos Gaming Titan on attack. Meta will defend this first point.
It looks like they're not going to be taking too many chances, not running anything very different from what we've seen. Hoon's still going to be coming in on the Zarya. He's been very successful as far as building up that ultimate very quickly. So just going to stick with things that are comfortable for them. Saya player as well on the Soldier. Don't think that we'll see him swap to Roadhog and go with 0 DPS comp. So I think he's just going to stick with this for the majority of this game. But Rhinos as well, they will be running Fenny on that Roadhog and be trying to get some hooks, pull them down from that top ledge, get them off the high ground, and maybe find an advantage that way.
Because of the run back you described, that's difficult for the defending team on capture point A. Picks and even trades with Roadhog are a net positive for the attacking team on this first point. So if Fenny gets a hook, gets a kill, and dies right afterwards, still a positive for Rhinos right now. So that's what they're looking for, that's what they're going for. And we see just a high ground battle here, really battle of the Reinhardt shields as Claris is going to try to swing around and do some disruption. Just doing a little bit of extra chip damage, builds his meter a little bit, but unable to find a pick.
Yeah, he was really trying to boop somebody off at the top platform here so they could isolate them and try to, separate them from healers and maybe get a kill. But speaking of which, dang, Saya just going to get multiple headshots in a row on a Munchkin and just rips right through him. Tay will go down as well. And that's just going to be a hold coming through from the Meta.
Saya player getting that pick also means he will be the first to have Tac Visor. As Levi looks to switch, I suppose. Not entirely sure what went wrong there. We'll see it off screen. But
be interesting if he wants to swap off of that, and I honestly think that was a mistake that we didn't get to see. Yeah, see, he's going to be coming back in. Has that meter almost built up. He's at 78%, so he'll get to 100 very quickly. So not exactly sure what happened there, maybe not paying attention.
Well, this is eating away a lot of the time. Almost certainly we'll see Rhinos eventually capture this first point, but doing it very slowly here and not able to build up their ults, trying to get there. Boone gets picked off there by Claris. That's a nice pick off.
Yeah, just rushing him straight out of the spawn. They knew that he'd be running back. They find him and they take him out. That's going to be a pretty crucial one to get rid of, as he was at 72%. So definitely not outside of the realm of possibility. He could have had a Graviton surge into this next fight. Saya, though, going to be throwing down with the Tac Visor, as well as that Nano Boost. Not able to find anything. Nice Earth Shatter, going to be interrupting Munchkin in the middle of his. It's going to buy them some crucial time. Shield coming up from J2, trying to block as many of these soldier shots as he possibly can. Won't hit anything with that Earth Strike.
Sound Barrier used already for the Meta. Munchkin trying to get the pick on Chris, and he does. There's the pick on NUS as well. Self-destructs, trading here to try to buy time, but it looks like Rhinos Gaming will finally take this point with a long run back here. There's not much that the meta can do, and if they actually try to contest this, they could get wiped again and lose both points. Not worth the risk, so Rhinos will capture point A, but that's the easy part. The tough part now is hitting the second point.
Yeah, that was really good target selection there by Munchkin and Bamboo, getting rid of both of the healers on the side of the meta, and that allows them to cap that point. So 5.5 minutes just about remaining on the clock for Rhinos to be able to push in. It's going to be a very tough hold from the meta.
Definitely will be. We do see Umte actually going to try to shield here on the high ground. Munchkin coming in from behind to try to get a nice Helix grenade. Looks to get the pick on Saya player, but does not happen.
Yeah, Rocket's not going to connect by Hooney. He's going to throw that Graviton Surge that does enable them to take out Umte. And you can see Fenny, he knew that he was dead to right, so he was just trying to take somebody with him, jumping over the ledge there, but unable to find that hook.
Claris has been so aggressive this game, it's going to cost him his mech this time, unfortunately. Earthshatter goes down onto Munchkin here. He just got his tag visor, actually survives.
It looked like J2 actually shorted that Flame Strike, threw it into the ground just beneath the legs of Munchkin, so was unable to come up with that kill. So meta, they are able to hold on, but they had to use a lot to get that hold.
A lot of ults available here for Rhinos. Umte is looking to come in with this Earth Shatter onto the high ground. He's dropping down. He's got his shield out.
Needs to wait for J2 to drop his so he can really line it up. Goes in for the charge, finds Hoon. Still going to be a good target. Fires back with the Flame Strike, takes him out. And NUS has fallen, as has Libero, so that's going to be no hope of a Blizzard coming through. And they are going to get a very long hold on this point, if not just the cap itself. You see Saya getting picked off by Claris, and there you go. Rhinos, with 4 minutes left, they almost take this point, push them off as they get rid of that Tracer, and they will cap it. 3 minutes, 54 seconds remaining. That's a hefty time bank.
3:54 on Volskaya. I mean, we don't even always see that second point get captured. With 3:54 on the clock, this is going to be a long and hard road for the meta to counteract there. That was just really good coordination. We didn't even see Umte use Earth Shatter. He didn't even need to. It was such a dominant attack there. And I gotta feel really stressed out for the meta after that one. This is kind of a mental barrier you have to go through now as you realize it's so hard to capture that second point. Now we have to do it. You know, if we have a terrible time, that next tiebreaker is gonna be so difficult.
Yeah, I mean, Hoon, like I said, he has been very proficient on this scenario, but sometimes these Graviton Surges just not the most profitable ones that he's throwing out. Catches Umte by himself. They kill Umte, but sure, you exchanged an entire ultimate, one of the slower building ultimates in the game, for Reinhardt. So some awkward decision-making coming through from the side of the meta, and we'll have to see if they can tighten that up as they move on to attack, because about 4 minutes left for Rhinos Gaming. That's going to be a really tough time to beat.
We've noticed in both matches today some of the predictability of movements for these pushes, where you see a team that's kind of doing the same sort of movement every time get punished. We saw Munchkin try to actually use that Helix rocket to get kills because he saw the positioning was identical. He knew he could sneak around the back. No one was protecting those stairs. The same way we saw Cox get that kill earlier today. And those are the kind of picks that can win you rounds like this. Didn't happen in this case, but something to look out for because in the straight-up matchup, we saw Saya player was winning soldier versus soldier at range. But I do like the way that Munchkin has been playing it a little bit more aggressively, trying to get big value picks.
It's going to be really interesting. Libero actually now on the fair. They're going to go to the pharmacy comp as he comes in with Mercy behind him, trying to get that boost. So firing in those rockets, that'll help knock down that Reinhardt shield fairly quickly. But they do have to be worried about Munchkin on this soldier. Might be able to snipe him out. Side player going to get popped up into the air. They're going to find a whole lot. He gets taken out as they smacks him in the back of the head.
Libero's here basically alone, of course, with Chris healing him.
Oh, wow. What a
nice
great charge.
Oh my god, it's such range too. Libero's going to just stick around and try to build ult. Needs to be careful not to stick around too long or he will get picked off. Munchkin going to be on the hunt there, so he does back off. And I'm going to swap out here, but we'll see if this Pharah pick will stick around for the meta, as they really do need to have a good time, as mentioned. And it's tough to make choices like this to commit to the Pharah. He is now boosted, doing extra damage, but not enough.
Yeah, can't land up those rockets. It's just such a distance, everybody has plenty of time to dodge around them, make sure that they're really limiting the amount of damage that they're taking from that Pharah, stopping her from getting that barrage very quickly. You can see he's now at about 62%, so still a ways away before he's able to pick that up. And even so, the barrage, it isolates you. It makes you such an easy target for somebody like Munchkin to just fire those Helix rockets into your face and burn you out. Okay, able to find a kill on the NUS. And Libero pushing really far forward, gets taken low, but the Mercy is there to try to keep him alive.
Saya player survives here, is going to heal himself back up to go back into the fight. Looking for the pick on Munchkin. Again, this 1v1 has always been in Saya player's favor. It will be once more here as Venny going to self-destruct to try to survive. And Tac Visor used to secure him the kill outside of the suit. Quick thinking there by Saya player to get that early pick. And we do finally see Rocket Barrage is ready. It's now the time to use it.
Got two tanky members here, but looks like they're going to be able to just take out Claris the old-fashioned way. Don't need to use that ultimate, so this will be good for meta. They have 5 ultimates that they can utilize to try to get a push in. They're going to have to try to take this on the first one if they want to beat the time bank.
Okay, they're going to start going in already. They're going to try to do double here. They do have, of course, the Resurrect as well, so every hero could be brought back to life for basically a double whammy push. Rhinos doesn't have a lot of defensive ults they can use, but importantly, they do not have self-destruct, which can really put a damper on Resurrect. We'll see if Libero can actually find this Rocket Barrage the way he wants it.
They toss it out. They're not going to really get anything for that. So they're just kind of going to waste that one. And Chris, he falls, so won't be there for the res. And Libero, he's going to have to back off. Doesn't have that Mercy there to pocket him. But, oh, Munchkin's found him. And with the help of Claris, they take him out.
I feel like what they were trying to do is use self-destruct to bait everyone back and then use the Rocket Barrage of everyone unsuspecting behind, but it didn't work out that way. And then he's picked off here. Munchkin gets a pick on NUS. Claris here with Graviton Surge available. We'll back off.
But that's going to be Rhinos really hard shoving the meta right out of this last point. They still have 4 ultimates of their own. The Graviton Surge plus the Earth Shatter. It could really be devastating for the meta if that lines up perfectly for Rhinos.
Looks like they want to wait for Saya player to...
he is really sneaking his way in the back.
Yeah, this is super sneaky. He wants to get a tricky Rocket Barrage. He might actually do this vertically, horizontally here. He tries for it, but it does not work out. Total waste it gets picked. That is really reaching. I think it's time to switch off the Pharah there.
Yeah, that was really subpar. Definitely not where you want to use that. Just trying to pick a soldier by himself. They don't even get the kill. And now Rhinos Gaming, they're just going to start steamrolling over the meta. Almost finding a team kill there in the end.
And you know what,
Libero, they're just really staggering their respawns now.
He's not even going to switch. He's going to keep with the Pharah.
I think this is a really ill-advised tactic from Libero.
I mean, yes, sure, Pharah will give extra mobility to the Mercy, but you don't really need that anymore. Just keep the Mercy until she uses Resurrect, sure, but the Pharah without Rocket Barrage attacking into this point is really just flinging stones at a stone wall at this point. You're not really finding much. As you can see here with this shot of him, he's going to rejoin his team with a sneaky compressed shot. They're going to come around together here, try to come from the high ground. Libero finds Fenny here, not able to get the kill, of course. Very difficult to do so. Attack Visor popped here by Munchkin.
And he's got that nano boost on top of him as well. Finds Libero off the bat, so just taking the Pharah right out of the fight, making sure that he can't build up any more ultimeter for the next push. But already 3 minutes left on the clock. Rhinos will have the superior time bank if the meta can even finish this off. Chris.
Camera on Chris here. He's not going to want to resurrect here. We'll just try to stay alive. Actually gets killed there. Nice grenade. Finished off by Levi. Yeah, and this is really tough to make work. And we finally do see Libero switch to Genji as the Pharah there just simply wasn't gaining any value. Now they're going to look for picks from behind. Genji can do a lot of disruption while they set up for a Resurrect and a big combo, but Hoon also does not have his Graviton Surge anymore.
I just have to think that this is way too late, though. Libero held on to that Pharah for so damn long, and he wasted so much time where he could be potentially getting work done on this Genji. We'll have to see as they get ready to push in, but that's going to be the charge from Bumte. Finds Saya player right off the bat, takes him out. Chris is down as well, and there we have it. The team kill. Rhinos. They hold strong. Don't have to use that many ultimates, honestly. It was really just a Graviton Surge.
And that was the Graviton Surge advantage that Rhinos had. Hoon now at 44%, and Claris is already at 22, a fifth of the way back to a second one here. And every second that ticks down right now is a huge advantage for Rhinos. Even if the meta captures the point, they're going to have a much worse time bank. So they're probably feeling a little bit frustrated, feeling the pressure right now. They cannot break through. Libero is so far away from a Dragon Blade, too. I mean, we might not ever even see one this game.
Yeah, this is looking really grim for meta. They need to get a massive pick or just really start stacking up some of these ultimates if they want to be able to win this game. It's a minute and a half left on the clock for them to push in, take this second point. They haven't gotten really any time on this at all so far.
Okay, Saya does have Tag Visor. Munchkin's going to pop his first, trying to find an angle around this shield. Actually gets the pick.
Oh, wow. Yeah, takes him out, throws in those Helix rockets. J2 goes down. They will get the mech out from Fenny, but he's going to throw out the self-destruct just to keep them pushed away from the point as long as possible.
It's such a long run back. It's so worth it to actually, kill them there and just use a self-destruct to zone them away. They already had several dead, so yes, his ult is wasted, but they're going to take a long time to reform for the next push, so you won't need it right away. And 50 seconds on the clock here for the meta, and Libero still doesn't have Dragon Blade. If he did, they could try to make this happen. They're going to have to try to build up 85%. J2 has this Earth Shatter. He's looking to use here.
They'll definitely have it, but this is going to be a Hail Mary play from meta. They basically have to all in, and then they're going to be trying to complete this one likely in overtime. Rhinos, they still have the Earth Shatter. They almost have a Graviton Surge of their own, 81%. Claris, they'll be able to build that up fairly quickly. And now in the meta, 20 seconds left. They have to get in here. They're grappling around the backside. Graviton Surge comes through. Catches 2, I believe.
Yeah, and here's the Tag Visor attempt, but it's completely blocked by D.Va there. Saya unable to get a single kill. The counter Graviton Surge goes down. The meta ahead right now, though, with this push. Libero had that Dragon Blade, which really turned things around. He finally had it, and it looks like they will finally, within overtime, cap this point. Well, they're up against 4 minutes and 54 with 1 minute of their own.
Yeah, Rhinos, they're running back. They're going to try to delay this as best as they can with Claris swapping on to that Tracer. They're almost to the second checkpoint now. Umte over on a Winston, dropping the shield, trying to stay alive as best as he can. But Saya looks like he might be able to take him out. He does with the help of Chris. And Levi as well going for the Desperation Sombra. They're trying to hold on, but it just doesn't seem plausible at this point. It looks like the meta in overtime, they might be able to take this, just need a couple more seconds, and there it is.
There you go.
With no time bank coming in for them. And Rhinos, they have nearly 4 minutes.
Yeah. When you add the a minute there, it's going to be 4:54 to the 1, and I mean, you're basically 1/5 the time of your opponents going into this, and I'm very I want to be real. I feel like the likelihood of this going in their favor is quite small, but at least they cap the point. At least they were able to force this in the first place. Without the cap, the map ends.
It's a small consolation prize. They can slap themselves on the back, say, okay, you know what, we capped it, good job. But now they have to see how much work they can do inside of a 1 minute window. And I have to agree with you, Wolf. This does not seem likely at all. Rather, they just have to try to hold this since they're going to be on the defending side. So they have to hold on to this first point for 4 minutes.
Yep. That's going to be very difficult to do. And, I mean,
I think it's going to be nigh impossible. I really don't expect the meta to come out with a win on this map. I think they kind of just have to shake their heads and say, you know what, let's get ready to just move on to map number 4.
I would have to agree.
This is, I mean, if they can pull it off, it'd be damn impressive.
Certainly would be. Let's see it happen. I mean, we saw, I do want to mention the Sombra come out again. We saw that at IEM, the attempt to hold there. And the meta did react to that very quickly, so that's something that look forward towards, or rather look forward in the future, is that Sombra attempt, and it was good at stopping that. All right,
this is how comfortable. This is how comfortable Rhinos feel. So they're going straight in for the Widowmaker to try to just get a pick around the side. They know that they have plenty of time to work with, and if they could get a major pick onto somebody like Chris or like NUS, then they could just shove right in. But Claris, he's not getting the angle that he wants. He's going to go ahead, peel back. We'll see what he wants to swap in for. He's actually going to go for the Pharah.
Yeah, as I said, you know, he did play Pharah in Apex quite a bit, and she is strong on this map, especially on point A. I feel like Libero definitely stayed on the Pharah way too long on their attack run, but we'll see if Claris can find a lot more success. He has a lot more time to, and he will likely be able to build one of those rocket barrages.
Yeah, I mean, with Saya not playing on the Soldier, it's going to be a little bit rough to try to take out that Pharah, and you can see already Rhinos just pushing through. They're going to find 3 kills right off the bat. Let's go ahead Tack another one onto that as Chris and Libero goes down. Pretty much the team kill coming through. And that will be our third map going over to Rhinos.
Yeah, they're going to try one last attempt to stop it with Trace here. Saya player comes in and is immediately blown up. And that is it. Captured and taken here. Rhinos, we might have 2 back-to-back upsets, and this is what I was talking about with, I feel like a lot of people are saying there's no way Space has a chance. I said, well, I think Space is the most likely to massively improve during the downtime. And already, Rhinos looking like a completely different team.
For sure. I mean, and a lot of these challenger teams struggling way more than you or I really thought that they would. The meta coming in undefeated during challenger, really having a hard time getting through Rhinos. And now at match point, they just need one more map, and Rhinos, they will move on to that winner's match. So the pressure is on for the meta.
In tournaments like this in Korea, this is the system we've always had. There's the Premier League and there's the Challenge League. Across basically all esports in Korea, this has always been a thing, really since 2010 in Korea. And in the first season of Apex, the Premier League, it's hard to say, okay, is there really that big of a skill gap yet? We don't know. That's why we look at these challenger teams and say, based on what we've seen from the challengers, they looked better than the Apex teams did that we're seeing them play against today. But those Apex teams have had time to catch up and improve as well. So it's definitely, not going the way that most predicted tonight so far, but there's a reason for that. These teams, these challenger teams looked better, but the Apex teams were improving in the background as well.
Yeah, and I mean, innately as an Apex team, you have to imagine that they might just have a better infrastructure, a better, coaching staff that helps these guys catch up. Because at the moment, I mean, this basically looks like NALCS versus Challenger Series, if I could reference some League of Legends really quickly, with how these Challenger teams are performing.
Yeah,
that's just a bit lackluster compared to what we were anticipating.
That's what you expect to see going into a third, fourth season of a tournament where really the Premier League and the Challenger League, there's this massive gap, and there's very little change, there's very little relegation. We're already seeing it going into Season 2. This is pretty big of a skill gap we're seeing. It's not over by any means, but that third map, Rhino looked totally dominant.
Yeah, they did. And of course, even if the meta does lose this, it is a double elimination best of 5 bracket, so they still have another opportunity. And regardless of how these challenger teams do, at least one of them will be making it into Apex, since we do have 4 slots.
That we do. So we're still in map selection here before we go into game number 4. I think we're going to have that popped up in just a moment for you guys.
Let's take a look and see what they want. It's going to be between Dorado and Watchpoint Gibraltar, and it's going to be Dorado.
All right. I love Dorado. One of my favorite maps. Love the music. Love those bells at the beginning of the game.
My favorite thing is on Filthy Widowmaker main is just popping over the gate when you're on defense, popping over that gate, and then while you're in the air, just trying to shoot the pinatas and make them burst. That's my little mini game that I play every time I'm running back. And then I get yelled at because I'm playing Widowmaker.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're saying in Korea, but I know enough to read Widow. And then I'm like, okay, well, they're flaming me.
Yeah. I don't know if they're calling you. I don't know if they're saying you're making some amazing plays, but
if it's at the start of the game, I know that's definitely not what they're saying.
Oh, definitely.
They're definitely not encouraging me like, yes, please, get all of the headshots.
All right, guys. Well, we are going to Dorado. We'll talk more about the map as we get into it. It is map number 4. Match point for Rhinos Gaming. Can the meta bring it back? We'll find out right now.
I get it.
Dorado. Our payload maps here at OGN Apex. And starting it off with the meta on the attack.
Yeah, we can see Rhinos coming out For the defense, not going to be seeing anything too shocking. Still going to be that Lucio Ana combo. Claris sticking to the Zarya this time around, and Munchkin's going to be that sole DPS. He's pretty much been keeping himself stuck on that soldier, which the current state of things is pretty unsurprising. Fenny back to the Roadhog's going to be looking to get some picks, likely from the high ground, drag him up behind the shield so they can't receive any heals from the allied Ana, and then just pop them and pick them off one at a time.
That's the plan. Pretty standard. We do see Libero has been showing us some fun heroes here. I think he showed us a Bastion initially. Now he's on the Sombra. And one other non-meta hero to start things off. I don't think he'll actually bring this to the table, but you know what? I mean, I'd love to see it, but the fact that he stands there means he's going to switch to Pharah. And
oh boy.
Suddenly this might start to feel, I don't want to say the HP words, but it might be a hero pool problem here. If he's really, stuck on this Pharah. Now, he's not a weak hero by any means, but against this soldier meta where Munchkin will absolutely be playing soldier from this high ground on the defense, it's going to be hard to find value out of this Pharah yet again.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where it's like, yay, Pharah finally got buffed. That's something that she really needed. Having that increased, hover speed is excellent for her. But at the same time, it's like, well, soldier got buffed. McCree's still there. Pharah is going to be difficult to play. So you can see Libero, he is coming in. So far, the payload has been pushed in underneath of that overpass. He's trying to get some kills in onto this Ana. Doesn't get the flick around the wall. Actually gets himself a little bit of damage.
Yeah, we've all been there before. Gonna go there ahead and commit to Levi. Does get the kill this time. It looks for the Zarya pick on Claris. Will get it. And I don't want to say that was great play, but I feel like his opponents definitely let that one happen. Fenny gets killed here by Saya. Uses the pulse grenade. Not sure if that was absolutely necessary, but wanted to kill it before the heal. And this is a very quick first point here for the meta.
I am really confused as to how this just happened, because it seemed like Rhinos weren't really doing anything. They were just backtracking towards the first point and getting picked off one at a time. It seemed like there was never any cohesive play at the start of that map.
Well, we were following, observing-wise, we were following the Pharah, and we saw exactly where he was going. We don't know why, but he was allowed to go there. He was allowed to just kind of hover and missed several rockets, but still was able to get the kill. So something went down on the ground that allowed that to happen, and Rhinos lost control. So I was critical of the Pharah pick, but in this case, I guess it gets value. He's built 50% rocket barrage already.
Yeah, it's just odd play coming through from Rhinos Gaming. See, though, they do have a couple ultimates up as they have that nano boost as well as the tac visor. Nano boost, speaking of which, going to be thrown out onto J2 on that D.Va. And Munchkin, he's trying to get some damage in, but he can't find a target. He's just constantly looking around trying to find somebody. He's going to get booted off the top, has to sprint in through the bank to try to keep himself alive, but it doesn't matter. J2 hounds him down on that D.Va. They're going to take him out, and this payload is moving really quickly.
It's bumping, as Lucio would say. And here comes a big self-destruct. No value there. Hoon getting the pick on Umte. Benny going to take Hoon out counterwise before going down. At least gets a trade out of it. Uses his ult. Claris here is going to be killed as well. And so a positive exchange for Rhinos overall. I really have to be critical of Munchkin's usage of the tac visor earlier, though. Didn't really find any damage. It seemed like an appropriate time. Wasting basically 2 ults with the nano boost on him as well. Saya will be pushed back.
Yeah, he seemed completely lost during that tac visor. But they get the payload almost at the second point, and it's looking really grim for Rhinos right now. This is one of the fastest pushes that I've seen on this map in quite some time.
Yeah, like in competitive history, I think it might be the first fastest one I've ever seen at a tournament of this level.
Oh boy.
Saya's going to come from behind, totally unnoticed, but the flashbang catches him here. Still gets the kill on Munchkin, Bamboo, and Claris. How is this happening? He's just simply getting away with it. Looks like Hoon protecting him there with the barrier helped him survive just long enough. And the meta will take this third point. 4 minutes, 40 seconds on the clock, going towards that very difficult to take third one. The momentum is definitely in their favor, and Libero has the rocket barrage.
Yeah, I don't think he's had to really use this yet, so still has that ultimate in their back pocket. Saya player as well is going to be building up pretty rapidly on his tac visor. And the meta, they're in a really good spot. This is night and day compared to last map.
Definitely so. Okay, trying to get around this corner here. Libero looking for that money rocket barrage. Just going to be patient here, going to be conservative. Is he going to go horizontal? He did it once before, but D.Va's in perfect position to deny.
Definitely don't want to do that while the charge is up. There we go, burns it out. Only going to find Umte, and again, you get locked down into one spot, and Munchkin's able to think about, finds a triple kill, make that a quadra with the tac visor and the nano boost. burns him out. Can he find the Penta? No! That is going to be a very lucky Lucio making his way around the corner, so not going to find that pentakill coming through. But man, let's go ahead and take a look at that.
Yeah, let's watch this again as basically no one's there to contest him. He's got this high ground with no D.Va to stop him. So, you know, if you've never tagged Visor before, that you just hold down left click and look at the direction your opponents are at. If there's nothing to stop, people die. We saw that there. He had the high ground and you know, got massive value. The first time Rhinos has had a solid hold in this game. They don't have any ultimates after this though, so they burned a lot of resources in order to get that hold. But the same can be said of the meta. They don't have very much. They're going to do a big play here using that wall to actually swing around the right side.
Yeah, boosting around the back there with the Mei. Gonna try to get some ground, but now they just have to work their way back through and around to the payload. And the Rhinos, they do have a pretty safe vantage point, or a pretty solid one, because now the meta, they have to channel through that tiny hallway. Wall comes up, it's going to block a bit of that nano boost, but another one coming through.
Munchkin does not have Tac Visor, but he's so close to having it. If he had it, it would have been so easy for them to actually hold that.
That's a Blizzard from Claris. He's locking him up. Makes it into the ice block, but now he's stuck in between two ice walls with a D.Va. Not going to go down, though. They get Fenny in the end, and Zaya player, he fires onto Umte, who charges through.
All right, there's nothing to block this Tac Visor. He couldn't commit to it. Looks like Munchkin's going to commit to his. Wall goes up here. Libero is going to be the first to die. And he's just going to sit behind this wall, no other picks.
I mean, they get the Tac Visor, and they only lose one. It's decent there as far as the exchange goes for the meta.
Definitely so.
Can't be that disappointed. They look still pushed up pretty far. They still have 2 minutes on the clock, but they need to start working around the payload rather than these, you know, these cheeky wraparounds. They haven't been able to really tag it in quite some time.
Saya player needs the D.Va to be eliminated or Umte to be eliminated to get value off this Tac Visor. It's tough to do so around the corner, as we do see a big commitment here. Hoon looking for this amazing Graviton Surge. He has it available.
He's going low. He's going to have to use it or else get some massive heals coming through. Earth Shatter comes out. They're not able to knock down Claris. Libero coming in with that right click to get the kill. Graviton Surge is out.
And Libero has Blizzard. Is he going to get the pick here? Nice sleep dart for the escape by Levi, but so many kills here already. The meta gets such a great push off of this. I have to be really complimentary of Hoon's patience there on the Graviton Surge, but still not enough. And the ice wall blocking them out. They're trying to push through here. Blizzard's still available for Libero. He could try to continue to lock out. There's the Blizzard.
Yeah, and he's just going to freeze up everybody as they continue this push. Just need to go a couple more meters and they'll have this. Claris is all by himself, but he gets taken out. A right click to the face from Libero, finalizing the kill, and now they just need about a meter and a half or so. Now, maybe not even less than that. I'm not even reading the thing. 0.28.
Yep, and there you go. Trying to use that
second and a half was the measurement I should have been using, but
yeah.
What a turnaround fight from the meta.
Yeah, it really just getting the better exchange there in that fight gave them a momentum. Then there was that ice wall that actually I think was the metas, which locked them in. I'm not entirely sure what went down there. Then we saw the Blizzard come in. They got 2 picks, and Reinhardt makes sure no one can even leave. And from there, they're just so close to the point. I think 78 at the moment that battle went down, and they just push it through. Pretty clean. A solid time as well.
Yeah, pretty decent. Definitely not as fast as it could have been. They did kind of, you know, go for those wraparound plays and they weren't getting much profit from it. They just kept having to, you know, pull back. But still, really solid play coming from the meta, who looked like they were going to, you know, basically roll over and die after that last map. So definitely a very good turnaround from them after Volskaya.
All right, Rhinos here need to complete the map. They're looking for a better than 47-second remaining time in order to take this map and close out the series. So it was not a terrible time, but like you said, more than it being a good time, it was an okay time. And Rhino's definitely going to be feeling some relief here after that hold.
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing is completing the map, especially for the meta, who weren't looking very good after that last map. So that's definitely a very big step in the right direction for them. The Rhinos right now may be doing a pharmacy comp of their own. We can see Bamboo right now on that Mercy with Claris in the back, and it looks like they are going to run this alongside that triple tank composition.
Yeah, Started to feel like more of a libero move, but I guess it's just Korea meta here in promotions to be running this pharmacy. We haven't seen in a long time. It's kind of fallen out, especially with Soldier getting buffed. Claris trying to find some of that damage as this initial push goes on. Keeping everyone kind of hidden in the back as he is damage boosted here.
Yeah, but there is no Soldier for them to worry about. It's really going to be Saya player. Has to line up those headshots to knock this Pharah out of the sky. See, he's trying to get a couple off, but the rocket flies straight and true, and that's going to take out Saya. Very big opening here by Claris. Gets the ceiling. It's not as high as he would like to be. He got clipped there, and he bounces back down, and that's going to be a kill coming through as he gets taken out by NUS.
Rhinos with a very solid push so far. Hoon very far forward, actually. Will get punished for it. Rhine is on him, and there's the hook by Fenny to finish him off. And just as quick, in fact, if not quicker, Rhinos will take this first point, 5:35. And they have a healthy set of ultimates. They have that Earth Shatter very early. Levi soon to have the nano boost. And Munchkin as well, building his ult up to 60. So a pretty quick push here. And the Pharah seems to be doing quite well. This time it was more just damage amplification. Claris is going to switch to Widowmaker, though. He's not even going to keep the Pharah.
So this is a bit interesting of a swap. Not sure what kind of angle he's going to have. Everyone on the side of meta is playing really far forward, inside or above the church. Oh, but there we go. Libero poking way too far forward. A swift headshot from Claris takes him out. And now he's going to be free to wrap around the backside player as well, going down. So both of the DPS members of the meta have fallen. And you can see Claris just trying to get these shots. Finds one on the NUS, takes him out. Couldn't get Chris, but he's definitely going to be looking for that.
E2 as well, and this spawn staggering here is going to be terrible for the meta. They need to regroup, especially with the Widowmaker out there. You lose your DPSs like that, she's free to just kind of poke at everybody. And we saw that basically Reinhardt comes out to try to protect, but it's too late that he gets hooked. And gets another pick on Chris and Saya player, Claris.
It's just an exhibition right now from Claris, almost killing himself if that
Gets
Genji had lined up, but NUS going down. That's going to be a cap. 5 minutes, 40 seconds on the clock for Rhinos. Let's see if they can finish this one off faster than the meta. Nice hook onto Saya, takes him out.
I feel like I'm just watching a symphony right now. Claris gets an X kill.
Make a highlight reel. Kind of botched on the grapple hook there. Didn't get the shoot up, the bump that he wanted, but he is definitely popping off right now.
This is an insane time they've got right now so far. Benny nearly gets another hook, just slight of missing it. We're going to see a bit of disruption attempt here by Saya to go for the Tracer as Moon drops down his Graviton Surge. Only gets one pick, and Claris is at it again.
Yeah, gets Levi, but there we go. Libero trying to go into the back line to take out this Widowmaker that's been causing so much trouble for his team, but he can't do it. Gets shot right out of the air by Fenny. And Claris will be able to back up, and Cooper, it looks like he might want to swap off the Widow now. Opened up for that second point. And now that it comes down to this third one, it's going to be a little bit too tight in those corridors, and we'll see what he wants to go for. It's going to be a Diva.
Okay, switching back to the Diva. Oh, actually, this gives some consideration to the Reaper.
Okay.
Calling out to his teammates is, when you got 4 minutes 30 time bank, you definitely have time to actually have a chat about what you want your team to run with you here. He won't be able to likely line up the Death Blossom actually with the Nano Boost around that timing.
Nice pulse bomb, picks off Claris right as he runs in with the team. And Munchkin as well.
Double kill there,
yes.
And Libero is going to get Levi, so some momentum taken away here as Saya gets on fire with that kill onto Fenny.
And that was actually, that's some
well.
gorgeous play from Saya right there. Throws the pulse bomb, actually stuck it to Fenny, but then kills Munchkin and Claris. And then follows up for a quadra kill. So very nicely done by him on the Tracer. And that might be just what meta needs to hold on to this payload and keep it sitting still.
They want to eat into the time bank of Rhinos. They don't want to be that significantly behind when we go into the follow-up push. The extra round. Libero has Dragon Blade here. It's going to save it for the time being.
Yeah, likely wants Hoon to go ahead and pick up that Graviton Surge. He's at 73%. Just got to kill in the J2, so that's going to bump him up quite nicely. Already to 84, 89. They're going to go ahead. They say, screw it. Let's pop the Dragon Blade. Go straight into the back line, trying to find the Ana. But a beautiful sleep dart yet again coming through.
Yeah, totally
nicely done.
He does go down, and this is a scary push. A bunch of ults, about to pop, but they're not ready yet. Munchkin Does have Deadeye here. He's going to get blown up. Saya, 4 kills with the combination there. That was very nicely done. And
Another one.
Really turning this game around for the meta, burning that bonus time that Rhinos is looking to go into this 3rd point with.
Yeah, let's go. I mean, we have to go ahead and take a look at that with the flashback. Just drops it in. 4 kills picked up on top of the Graviton Surge. So I said that they wanted the Dragon Blade, but it was really going to be the Pulse Bomb. So they made the Big Bang happen quite nicely. You can see the Deadeye coming through from Munchkin. Actually going to be able to find a hit onto Hoon. Fires back, gets a headshot onto J2. Looking for more. Knows that he's got a couple people behind him. Can't quite find the shot onto Saya, and he gets taken out.
Saya player doesn't get flashbang there. That's really critical. Does get the kill. And again, Saya is trying to bring this back, trying to take the momentum away from this push. 4 on the payload, currently uncontested. As
he's so busy worrying about Claris that he's not denying the payload at all. And they get a massive push, and Claris is able to finish him off in the end. We might just get a Genji 1v1 by the look of it. Claris low, Chris, the lone member, locked up inside of that Graviton Surge. He will go down, and as the Dragon Blade comes out from Claris, finds 2. Can he find more? There's really just not anybody for him to kill. Looks like they might just complete the push right here.
Looks like it. No one's able to come out, and that will be finished. Okay, here comes out the Earth Shatter, but it's not enough. There's the cap.
Only so much you can do if you're Saya. You get hit by an Earth Shatter, you're going to go down as a Tracer. So nicely done by Rhino, still able to close this one out with more time in the bank than the meta, but there's always that opportunity that they both get drained to 0, and then we have to go to Nepal for a tiebreaker.
Absolutely. Wouldn't mind to see it, to be honest. We haven't had one yet today. And the amount of tension that is created by that best of 1 Sanctum game is, I love it. Especially when you've got a team on match point. The pressure is on. We'll see if meta can outdo with this smaller time bank. A Claris fan here. Claris.
Oh, yep, I can read it now. Took me a second, but I got it. But definitely has good reason to have some fans. Claris really putting on an exhibition for us with the Widowmaker.
All right, here we go. 153 time bank for Rhinos. 1 minute flat for the meta. Finished with a, I believe, 54 on their initial push.
It's about 47.
Okay.
So I mean, it's somewhere in between there, I guess. Either way, they have a minute left, so almost double the time for Rhinos.
That will be the meta on attack first. This is a tug of war here, essentially.
I mean, honestly, this might not be that bad for either side because this first push has been so quick. Even into the 2nd point, they've been really fast pushes by both sides that we've seen so far. So the meta should be able to get some good ground here, if not take that first point. But they still have a very limited amount of time to work with. They have to try to build up ultis as quickly as humanly possible so that they can shove off Rhinos.
Libero going to be playing Mei this time. He doesn't have enough time to get value out of the Pharah he was playing earlier. So I like this choice a lot. Just use, more consistent. You're going to build that ult so fast. And if we go into overtime, he's definitely going to have that Blizzard if the overtime goes longer. Saya player here again on the McCree. Trying to pick off at range. 46 meters pushed with 15 seconds on the clock. They want to maintain that overtime. It's going to start in 10 seconds.
Yeah, we see the payload still hasn't moved out from underneath the overpass yet. They're going to start pushing it up, but like you said, overtime coming in now. Just a couple seconds remaining, and we're in. Nice wall. Actually going to stop the Reinhardt from moving in. J2 can't get in and maximize that nano boost. He gets bumped back, and this could be really bad for the meta, losing that big cooldown.
Yeah, definitely so. Earth Shatter comes down here.
Catches several members, but they can't follow up on it for many kills. So far, Munchkin, he will be able to find one. Gets attack visor, finds 2, make that 3-4 with the help of Umte. And that's just going to be a lone Mei sitting inside of a nice block, but
Team
the meta,
kill.
they can't stick to it. The team kill to finish out that 1 minute push.
64-53 meters there, as this was a pretty solid hold. The overtime they're not going for very long. Munchkin getting the attack visor very early, and all he really needed in order to get that was that good Earth Shatter. The Ice Wall, as you mentioned, denying that very early nano boost really whiffed their push. When you have such a small time bank, I mean, you have the smallest you can get, 1 minute. When you have a 1 minute push, you have to make every ult count because it's the only ult you're gonna get in 60 seconds. and to have it completely nullified there is huge. Now, Rhinos looking favored to take this final map. We shall see if they can make it happen. They have so much more time as the pressure is on the meta right now.
Yeah, and they barely have to take this payload anywhere. Just past the overpass is where they need to go, 64.53 meters. And with almost 2 minutes on the clock, you have to think that Rhinos pretty much have this one in the bag. But the meta, they need to hold very firmly here if they really want to be able to come out on top. Saya, you can see going for this McCree, worried about that potential pharmacy comp from Rhinos, and they are in fact going to be running it, so this could work to his advantage if he can land those headshots and take out Claris early.
Yeah, I feel like it's really risky to Rhinos to have Rhinos run this pharmacy, but they do have more time to actually get value off of this pick with more than double or nearly double the time pool. Fenny as well, they're going to look for picks to just push as far as they can. They don't need to push very far, they only need to get 64, so any picks they can get almost guarantees them the win here.
Yeah, not going to find that hook. All right, Hard Shield comes up, Pharmacy still floating around the top of the bridge. Poke him out as best as possible. Aiming
trying
for
to get
NUS,
yeah.
They're going to get a couple shots in there, get a little bit of damage, just a smattering.
J2 gets knocked back, his shield's backwards, nearly getting the pick. He misses that one rocket though.
And the charge comes. Not coming out yet, Umte. Looks like his shield might have gone down. He goes low, hook comes through. They find the Reinhardt. And that's going to be the fast Zarya shield coming through, but it's not enough to keep J2 alive. Just give a lot of charge to Hoon, who now has his ultimate.
Exactly, Hoon does have his ult. He's going to look for it right here, right now. Claris does not get sucked in, and they're going there onto Saya player. Bamboo is picked off, though. Hoon gets the kill on Claris as well. This looks to be a hold. We are so close, though, 10 meters away. There's people on the point. It cannot be pushed. It looks like Umte is going to go down here. Man, the push is stopped for now.
Yeah, this is going to have to be Rhinos really getting back together very quickly. Hoon poking forward, going to be looking to build up as much meter as he possibly can from here. 44%. A far cry hope that he can get this back up before the 20 seconds counts down. But
here
some
comes
very
the
nice
Jedi.
picks coming through. They're going to go ahead. They're going to boost up Saya. Won't find anybody, but with Bamboo dead, this is really going to halt Rhinos. They have 10 seconds. This might actually be meta winning this map.
Yeah, it's almost as if they've given up. They're going to try to run in for one last attempt. Umte dashes in, charges onto that point to get the overtime. Libero here does have self-destruct. He's going to be looking to use it. And they've already pushed it so far back down. It slid down so far. Here's the sound barrier again. They just need to push off of the point one time.
Oh, another big Earth Shatter coming through. They lock down Chris, but can they come up with a kill on the Lucio? The answer is going to be no. They're just going to pick off Hoon for the time being, and now Saya player coming back in with that Tracer.
Oh, another pickoff here. Claris does get the kill on Chris, but Libero still on this point. Overtime still holding strong. We do see the nano boost coming down onto Diva. Still on top of this point. It's very much contested. The meta looking to try to hold this.
Yeah, it's Munchkin doing his damnedest. He's going to go ahead, throw out that self-destruct, but he won't find anything for it. No kills coming through. Going to get popped right back out of that mech, taken out. But this has provided a little bit of time for Rhinos to try to get back to the payload. Very nice Graviton Surge thrown out by Hoon, just trying to keep them away as much as they possibly can, but Munchkin has returned. Another self-destruct coming through. Claire is still here on the Tracer, dashing around through the buildings, but he gets taken out. Saya player winning the 1v1 in that regard. Another Earth Shatter finds Hoon, but most of it blocked by J2. And it looks like the meta, they're still holding strong. Another one coming through, charge in onto the enemy Reinhardt, and with that, the meta miraculously holding on, and they're going to take us to Game 5.
There we go. Game 5 it is. A very clutch hold there. And, it seemed like Rhinos had it in the bag just from the spawns. They had that first really good push through, but they couldn't stick on the point. They couldn't actually force the finish there. And the meta just came at them with mobile heroes back left to right, and also had Saya players switch to the Tracer. He bought a lot of time, but it was really Hoon who actually got two good Graviton Surges that were doing enough damage to really break that charge back, break the run back, stagger the spawns, and then from there, overtime is like so short at that point. If you get pushed off with one last charge, that's all she wrote.
Yeah, and that's going to be meta holding on for dear life. You can see the looks on their faces, barely believing that they were able to make it back into this one. Rhinos, that's got to be messing with them a little bit. They had that massive, push time at the beginning, and then come in having double the amount of time, only having to go 60 meters, but unable to do so as the meta holds on.
Game 5 is where we are destined to go here, as this has been back and forth from the start. A win on Nepal for Rhinos, Meta then taking the next map. Then we go into Volskaya, Rhinos wins it again, and Dorado won by Meta as well. It's 2-2 at our 5th and final set. Where are we going? It will be Eichenwald.
All right, so we're going to see Eichenwald for the second time today. No Hollywood yet, and not going to get a repeat on the King's Row that we saw earlier on, but over to Eichenwald, and I can't think of a more fitting place to close out this best of 5. It's been pretty neck and neck, back and forth between these two teams, so let's go ahead and move on to one of the harder hybrid maps.
Definitely a very difficult one. That high ground is so important for the defense, especially when you've got a soldier up there. We've seen both teams trying to go for picks on soldier players. Saya player, in this case, versus Munchkin. What can they accomplish on that high ground? We saw a pick by Cox earlier on that really won that game for Runaway earlier, and we'll see if either of these teams can make the same type of pick.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about that high ground. I want to know about that choke point. We haven't seen the teams playing the May. We're going to find out if they do right here as we get ready to go into Game 5.
I get it.
We are back here in Germany for our 5th and final map of this series between the Meta and Rhinos. Winner moves on to the winner's match. Loser will face potential elimination 2 days from now. So we'll see these two comps taking them out right now. On the defense, it's going to be Meta. Rhinos on the attack. No soldier for the Meta. Actually going to be looking for more ground-based picks, at least for the original spawn. The high ground that I'm talking about describing really comes towards the second capture point. That's where we're really going to want to have that range damage.
Yeah, I mean, this is everybody's favorite comp. It's quad tank, 2 healers. What more could you possibly want from the Meta? Very aptly named. But I'm more concerned, not so much about the lack of the soldier, but going to be the lack of that May. You won't have the walls to try to just isolate picks as they come through the choke point. So this is really confusing to me as to why the Meta wants to go for this. I mean, obviously quad tank, it is very strong. It's hard to take out any single member on the side of Meta. But interestingly enough, Rhinos, they're running with a Hanzo right now.
Yeah, that's real. When I saw it, I thought it was probably just going to be one of those attack picks where they switch in the last second. We'll see Munchkin, what can he do with it? Historically in Korea, we've really only had Duns actually be a successful Hanzo player in Apex. And
oh boy.
Munchkin already eating a flame strike there. Gets hooked and will be taken out by Saya player. And maybe he'll switch off the Hanzo going forward. He did build some ult charge, as we see a swap to Zenyatta. So it looks like a comp will be switching here. Munchkin switches to the Reaper. Well, this tank comp is so hard to kill, and I think that's why we're seeing the switch to Reaper, because it can really melt through the tanks if he has proper support.
I mean, both of those picks are really gonna amplify the kill potential here for Rhinos Gaming. You want that Discord Orb throw onto somebody that's right in the front line, and then use that Reaper with the shotguns to just absolutely destroy him. We'll have to see if that's going to be possible, because again, you still have to get through that big meaty Reinhardt shield, and so far Rhinos Gaming, they're having a really hard time. You see 4 members go down, make that 5.
Yeah, they're really just unable to break through. Nearly a full wipe here. The meta is no pun intended, really running something that's becoming a lot more meta. We've seen about half the games, just looking at the stats that we were releasing on the competitive Overwatch subreddit, about half or more games at Vegas running similar compositions to this. It's becoming more and more common, especially on the defense here. We're going to see Claris drop down that big Graviton surge, trying to get picks. Spenny gets 2 kills from this. And Rhinos, the push is on. Finally, they break through. Munchkin going to pick off another and get 63% of his death balls. Was actually going to teleport up here and come down.
He's just bouncing around, but yeah, that's going to be the cap for Rhinos, so they finally broke through. 2 minutes, honestly, not too bad. Meta, they tried holding on. We can see a Widowmaker now coming out for Saya.
Saya, I expected him 100% to switch to the Soldier here for that high ground, but it looks like he wants more mobility here with the Widowmaker.
We're going to have 2 Widowmakers.
Yeah, and it's going to be Claris against him here. It's going to be the Battle of the Widows. This is actually getting pretty crazy. This is pretty rare.
Yeah, definitely not a matchup that we've seen a whole lot of in recent history. You can see that self-destruct, not going to find anybody from Libero. And Claris still looking in, but sound barrier is there to protect multiple members of the meta, so this Widowmaker going to have to wait a little bit before she can be as impactful as desired. Hook in, but it's going to be the biotic grenade trying to keep him alive. And Saya, he finds Claris. He said, yo, you finally stepped in far enough. Takes him out, takes out the other sniper in Levi. And Saya, he's going to have a very dominant position up on this rampart.
Okay, ooh, very shuffly running there on the side of Munchkin. Does get out. Munchkin's actually healing himself massively, going up all the way now to that full tag visor. Saya player gets the pick on Claris this time, and actually finds himself very low. Munchkin wants to save that tag visor and pair it. We do see a huge Graviton Surge. Saya's trying to capitalize on it here. He does get the pick on Fenny. And that's going to be it as it stops the push, halts it. Rhinos will have to regroup for another push. The meta seems to have used their first composition to slow down the capture, being unkillable with tanks, and now they're trying to use this damage at range with the tanks protecting. The triple tank kind of blocking with the support, and Saya just really the only damage dealer here.
But this is going to be basically the screw you comp to the Widowmaker. They're going to run this Diva, they're going to run this Genji. Basically, people that can just get in the back line, block the headshots coming through from Saya, and once you stick on top of him, he's going to go down. Munchkin now on top of the ramparts comes in, has that tac visor as well as the nano boost, but he's not getting any profit out of this whatsoever, and he's just going to go down. Libero taking him out with the Diva. A really botched ultimate, a duo of ultimates coming through on the side of Rhinos.
Yeah, definitely the anti-synergy there coming through. We are going to see Libero kind of dive in with the nano boost to try to find some picks. Not pictured here as he does get taken out there. Saya player does go down. The Hanzo finally, excuse me, not Hanzo, Genji finally does get that pick, the counter against the Widowmaker. Player's looking for more here. Self-destruct comes up, forces him to retreat. And Rhinos has pushed halfway to the second point, but we're starting to get to the point where 2 minutes left. The Widowmaker pick definitely worked out against them originally. Ate a lot of their time pool.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Claris didn't really get any picks to my knowledge. I don't think he got a single one when he had swapped over to that Widowmaker. But Claris now on the Genji is doing some work, gets on a Saya player, takes him out. Charge coming through, will find Fenny, but doesn't get a whole lot done. Big heal deny coming through onto the members of the meta, and they have to kite backward. Graviton Surge is there for Hoon, but doesn't really have an opportunity to toss it out. The rest of his team just getting destroyed. Pretty much a team kill coming through as Saya player was able to respawn in time, but this is almost certainly going to make it to that checkpoint. I think it'd be rather foolish of meta to try to push forward and contest.
And will they try to hold the doorway? It's already too late. They're just going to sit back here. Munchkin on the ramparts. They do have Libero, of course, on the side of the meta here to switch to the Mei. So we're finally starting to see that come in here as well. It's going to help slow this down.
Well, see, this is exactly what they were waiting for. They wanted the payload to come through so the gate would get ready to close. They throw that Graviton Surge and they just start destroying Rhinos. And now with the payload moved forward, it's going to make things way more complicated for Rhinos to move in, because again, they're going to have those two avenues of approach. Actually, they might not have gotten the payload far enough for the gate to shut it.
Yeah, not quite. So this is
okay,
kind of
so maybe that didn't really pay off as well for the meta as they would have hoped, but they still do really do stop Rhinos in their tracks there, but they're going to be at an ult disadvantage, so maybe just miscalculating just how far the payload had come.
Libero has Blizzard now. They've got Sound Barrier and Earth Shatter, so they've got a lot of tools to try to deny. Munchkin going to pop the attack visor here. Immediately slept. And Sound Barrier goes down. Saya looking for the Deadeye. Does not get anything there. Nearly, in fact, taken out by Fenny. And he is going to potentially lose his mech here.
Well,
so
nice ice
barely getting away.
Yeah, Claris has swapped over to that Mei. Picks off Chris, actually, and almost has a Blizzard up. 75% on that. And that's going to be a massive zone control for this final point. Something that Rhinos really need and can utilize to get this final cap. You can see that's going to be the nano boost coming through onto Hoon. Finds a couple of kills. Going to find Levi as well as Bamboo, taking out both of those healers. And he'll have a Graviton Surge ready to go, so 2 ultimates available. Saya already with another Deadeye.
Just over 60 seconds left for Rhinos to try to get this very difficult, coveted 3rd point. I really would like to have it, but with only 1 minute left on the clock, and Nano Boost is their only tool, it's not going to be easy. There's Deadeye, there's Graviton Surge on the defense here. Moon going to look to use that Graviton Surge to buy time and end that final attempt. Deadeye here used, helping to get the pick onto Umte. And Levi goes down as well. A solid hold here already for the meta. Using their ults well. Benny going to be the last to die.
Yeah, and this last kill here on Declaris, if they can get it, that's going to stagger him so much. He might not be able to join his team. There we go. Libero finds it. 25 seconds on the clock. Munchkin and Claire still not respawned yet. Rhinos are in such a precarious position.
It's going to be so difficult to actually get onto the payload at all with Libero's Blizzard still available. This is all about the Umte Earth Shatter. They don't have self-destruct with it either. So frustrating here. They're going to go for one last attempt. Ice Wall comes down to try to isolate someone. Here's the Blizzard immediately. Libero goes in. Only gets one in the Blizzard, but that may be enough. Umte is killed.
Yeah, it's a crucial pick off. The payload is moving, however. That's going to be the self-destruct thrown out. Does find J2. Can they get more? He's able to make it back into the mech so far. 2 members down, 5 on the side of the meta. It's just Saya player left alive, and he gets taken out. Can they push this all the way? The respawns will be coming through.
Oh, very, very close here. Libero switching to Genji, trying to come back here as quickly as he can to stop this on overtime. 61 meters to go. He's in here. Earth Shatter still available.
Yeah, they're almost there. Umte still holding on to it. Needs to get rid of that Reinhardt shield to try to find the opening. Throws it out. Only catches one. Isn't going to be enough. They won't even be able to punish NUS for it. And now the Deadeye's coming through on top of that sound barrier. Rhinos Gaming, they have to keep tagging in onto this payload, and it's really just going to be on Claris, but he falls. That will be overtime concluding. And Rhinos, they made it just in front of that 3rd point, but now they have to full defend against the meta.
Now they have to stop the meta from getting that 3rd point. A really strong push overall there, and basically they couldn't quite get through the door as quickly as they wanted to. We had some really nice holds there. Boone again with some really nice Graviton Surges as well. And this map, it's really tough to get through the middle and the very end. Those are the 2 real tough parts. We saw Widowmaker used on both sides. Widowmaker almost used kind of as a counter to the Widowmaker on that high ground. They did not actually commit Munchkin to the Soldier there. So that was really interesting to me because that's what we've been seeing from the other teams and also a lot of what we saw at IEM. Now Nahana, for example, really coming to mind is using that Soldier on the high ground, but they kind of skipped it initially on this map. And it looks like the meta is going to consider...
Oh, boy.
Oh, wow.
This is... Okay. Yep. They're just going to watch him die.
Well, the meta is very seriously going to be running Libero, it seems, on the Pharah.
Which that isn't that shocking, but this is going to give us our first taste of the new Symmetra for today. We haven't seen her picked up yet, so we'll have to see how Claris wants to play this. Whether it's, I imagine this is going to be a teleporter Symmetra rather than the shield generator Symmetra. But I was really caught off guard for a second by that Bastion, but he's just going to jump off the ledge and come back as a beautiful Zarya.
Well, this is, very much a real Symmetra, though. And we've seen these heal armor Symmetra combinations before. We saw it at IEM, even with the Turbulent in one case, with all the armor that you can have. Well, just going to be more of a hybrid here with the teleporter that you mentioned, being the real fireworks that's going to come out of this hero, just allowing people to come back very quickly. They lose damage with this, but they have so much pick potential with the Roadhog.
Yeah, now that's going to be the meta finding out that there is, in fact, a Symmetra, hearing those little turrets going off. Pharmacy comp is trying to enable Libero to get these empowered shots in as he gets his damage boosted up. Saya player going into the back. It's almost microwaved out by Claris. Not quite going to go down, but it's pretty damn close. Is able to find a kill on Fenny, and things are already looking pretty decent.
Claris gets shielded here, but will finally go down.
Oh.
Gets traded there. Actually, 2 for 2. That's a nice pick there. Get that shot of Claris, a sad Symmetra dying there. We'll come back. He's 83% of teleporter, but does not have it yet. And in fact, if they lose this first point, he may just simply switch off it right away.
Yep.
Umte gets a pick here. Munchkin gets another as well.
That's such a crucial hit from Munchkin. It was out of shields completely down to about 50 HP.
This is
one more spray from Saya would have taken him out.
This is such a huge moment. If Claris actually gets the teleporter, this becomes so much more difficult to defend, or rather to attack, and much easier to defend. And they need a nearly full push. Meta does. So that teleporter now available. We'll see where they plant it.
He's got to be really careful about where he plants this, because somebody like Saya could just dash into the back lines to get rid of that teleporter, and suddenly there's just no way for you to get back. Looks like he will be going for it. Or rather, he's going to use the shield generator.
Yeah, Levi gets picked. Meanwhile, by the way, Saya looking around here, trying to get a second. Does not get it. Okay, eventually does get that bamboo pick off.
And the follow-up from NUS on this Zenyatta as he swapped down is helping out quite a bit. Libero still sitting there with that barrage. He will take out the shield generator, so it wasn't too long for this world.
Rocket barrage is available. Actually, still
he
alive.
didn't kill it.
Generator. Yeah, not quite. Looks like maybe it was just a turret that went down there. Chris has resurrection here. Looks like he's going to use it on a huge resurrect, the decent one. Saya gets another pick. There's the pick that Libero gets as well. He does die for it here.
But Claris has got a double kill. It takes out Lero. Make that a triple, just microwaving everyone to death. He will fall in the end. Saya takes him out, but not before the damage is done. Claris is absolutely going ham on that Symmetra.
Claris,
that is the face of a stone cold killer.
That's the face of a stone cold Symmetra right there. All right, Libero comes back in. This is nearly a capped point. And it will be, that is the point captured. The meta takes it here. And they've got a long push ahead of them. A decent time here. We'll see what Claris decides to run with next. As he still has, he still had that Metro. We'll see if he decides to even doubt it. Yeah, he's just going to switch right to the D.Va. There's not much point in having a teleporter or a shield generator very briefly there. But it did get them a lot of value, especially with that triple kill earlier on. These Symmetra comps still feel very experimental. It's hard to say whether they're wrong or right, but I think in this case it was definitely a positive net value for Rhinos. Saya here looking for another pick. Does have that pulse bomb. Looking for the pick on Munchkin. That soldier I was talking about that's so important. Hoon does get 2 kills. Meanwhile, off screen, Munchkin does go down, and they're going to try to control this zone.
Yeah, doesn't even have to use the pulse bomb to pop that mech. Just chases in, gets around the right click, and is able to take it out. So this is going to be a really strong push for the meta.
Saya player still has the pulse bomb available.
Yeah,
and he's looking for another pick on Munchkin if he can.
Oh, throws it in. Not going to find it. So Fenny will be alive for a little bit longer at least, but the heal deny coming through from that bionic grenade, but he lands the hook, and it's just enough damage to take out the Tracer.
Sad Libero couldn't actually get any closer there. He actually has Rocket Barrage available right now, and he is
Let's
actually boosted. Gets Levi.
Yeah, he's going to throw it out. He's going to find a double kill, maybe even the triple.
Yeah, looks like it. Very successful. The really first Rocket Barrage we've seen actually work out. Munchkin tries to heal himself up here. He actually gets away for the time being. Is chased down by J2. Actually, there's the sleep dart. Will lose the Mac, and they will hold this for the time being, but losing the high ground position. That's the tough part on this second point. Yeah. Getting past that high ground, they are able to do it.
Oh, nice big hook in onto Hoon. They are able to take him out, so good one by Fenny, but I mean, payload already right up in front of the second point. Don't have very far to go. They still have 2 minutes on the clock. We'll see. These guys look like they want to swap some things outside. Going back to this McCree. Might be looking to play the high ground, get that Deadeye down on top of the point, but this does give time for Rhinos to recuperate, to gather themselves, and they'll be back up on that high ground as well, so we'll see if they're able to stop this advance from the meta.
Libero actually trying to right-click his way through this. All this damage, they're trying to charge through and take re-control that high ground. Fenny up here at the front blocking that off. They may just simply try to avoid this then. Looks like Rhinos will give up the high ground. This is a great place for Saya, as you mentioned, with the McCree to actually just chunk people down from a distance. He's going to work on that shield as well. They're going to re-control the payload, pushing now onto the bridge.
They have to be careful, though, because there's 3 ultimates on the side of Rhinos Gaming. Claris has the self-destruct. Looks like it's actually going to get tossed up in the air, so Saya has to back off. And that is going to be the sound barrier coming through from the side of the meta. Several members still quite low. They lose NUS on top of it. That's going to be pretty crippling, not having that Ana available to them.
All right, Munchkin gets a pick here. Looking for 2.
Beautiful angle.
And he gets the high ground again, and there's no one to stop him. He's going to slow down the Reinhardt advance as well. This is burning a lot of time right now. 42 seconds left.
I mean, yeah, we're at 40 seconds even if they do cap this, it's going to give limited time over to the meta to try to push for that third point, because they basically have to take the third point if they want to win this set.
Yeah, this is really rough. They've got 25 seconds to go. They're going to try to make this work. This could be their last push. They have Deadeye. It's popped out already, used here to try to help Zone.
Oh!
Gets two. That's what they need here. They're so close to pushing this through.
Really crucial pickups there by Saya, getting the double kill. Bamboo crucially going down. That's 4 members of Rhinos dead, make it 5. And I think that the meta, they might just have found this push to make it to the second point. You can see Claris in the back with that D.Va sitting on top of the payload as long as he possibly could to deny the push.
They have Blizzard. They need to keep everyone inside here. They're going to use the ice wall first. They're going to go to the other side. They can use Blizzard if everyone goes to the other side, and that will just barely get them this point. 2.26 meters away, and they will secure it. Close call here, but they've only got a minute and a half left now to push this really far.
They have a lot of time, though, because several members, 5 members of Rhinos have gone down. They can just sit on top of this payload and push it as far as they possibly can.
Earthshatter available here on J2. He's leading the charge. He's coming up here to the front. Looking for pick. Saya about to have another Deadeye. Sound barrier is still a ways away for Chris as well.
He's going to have to find a massive opening with this Earthshatter. Rhinos have 0 ultimates. This is the meta's game to lose at this point. Big charge coming through. Will pin in Umte. They find it. Munchkin going down as well. Libero finishing off Benny. Levi, the only one left alive. I think the meta might have just done it. They just need to get the Ana, who can't even really contest the payload. They have it moving along, rounding the corner.
Here it comes. There's just no one to stop this. Chris is on top of it. Saya with some zoning. He has Deadeye as well. Looks like they're going to try it one more time. Bamboo comes in.
He's able to make it. They take out Saya player, but Umte goes down, and yet again it's just Fenny and Levi, the last 2 members alive. They're going to drop the sound barrier to stay alive as best as they can. The mech gets popped. That's going to be them going down, and the meta didn't think they had it, but in the end, they're able to take it, and they win their first match here in the promotion tournament against Rhinos Gaming Titan.
They will advance to the winner's match. It came down to amazing shot calling there by NUS. He told them he had that coordinated setup. They had just a few seconds left. They went from the high ground. That McCree pick got a ton of value. They distracted, they got behind, they got 2 picks with a Deadeye. And it was from then on, you know, you end up with this pick that leads into another pick that leads into another pick, and suddenly you were just about to lose the match. You get 1 minute and 30 seconds left. You make a few good plays. You end the series. It looked hopeless. And, you know, going into the beginning of this, Rhinos took the first game. It was a very back and forth series. The meta had their shaky moments in this series, no doubt, but they kept it together, and they used some off-meta picks. You know, they brought the McCree in very often on that high ground. They were using Widowmaker. They brought a ton of Pharah and a lot of that pharmacy composition, as everyone likes to call it. So really showing us a lot here in this series, but I feel like there's a lot to learn and study going to the winner's match for their opponents.
Oh, for sure. I mean, these guys, both teams showed off a lot of different picks. You already mentioned the Widowmaker, but Hanzo was even something that we saw brought out at the start of Eichenfeld. So these guys, you know, definitely not going to be playing at the highest level. You know, they're not the Lunatic Highs. They're not the Enviouses of the world, but they are still showing some really unique picks, and that could really shake things up as this tournament progresses.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at some of these highlights. You know, I just want to say, you know, when the going got rough, NUS, who's the shot caller, of course, he's the support player, that's why he's the one who sits on the highest, definitely made some really critical plays. That last one was amazing. Their decision-making and their ability to hold and control on the second map as well on King's Row, really, really impressive. And they really just struggled in that first game, and every other game was close. Really, I feel like the only one-sided game in this series was Nepal.
Yeah, I mean, that one was pretty crushing, but otherwise, back and forth, as you can see, we just get that highlight reel of Widowmaker plays, but there's just some pretty impressive things throughout this series, some less than stellar ones as well from both sides. So there's still a lot of work to be done, because even if one of these squads makes their way, or even both of these squads makes their way into Apex, or if Rhinos retain their spot, they still have a hell of a lot of work to be done if they want to be competing at the top level. Because we saw what happened with Luxury Watch when they combined their roster. We've seen Lunatic High and a Freak of Freaks Blue and what they can do. So these guys, they need to work on their synergy. There's definitely some times where there is a severe disconnect on both sides. So if they can work on that communication, then I think that maybe they can improve and move beyond a middle of the pack team in Apex for Season 2.
I would say there's really huge moments of brilliance on Saya player as well as a mechanical player. He was the one who sometimes was able to buy a ton of time or get the picks required to push a little bit further. Playing, of course, Widowmaker there, getting those picks as well. His Tracer, his Widowmaker, both very strong. Also his McCree, he won the 1v1s versus Munchkin on Volskaya convincingly every time. And he's one of the reasons why this worked out so well at the end of all things for the meta.
Yeah. So that's Symmetra right there getting the triple kill. I hope we can see a little bit more of her coming out and see how she's really going to fit into the current state of the game a little bit more. But as you can see right there, that final little push just had to go a couple more inches. They were able to do it. And the meta, they come out on top.
Yeah, really surprised we didn't see the teleporter there from Symmetra as you were predicting. I thought we were going to see that come out just to have that faster respawn, especially considering at that moment they were starting to get a little bit desperate to hold.
Yeah.
They didn't feel like they had enough time to actually get that much from the armor.
I mean, it's really hard
shields,
to
I should say.
it's really hard to gauge how much additional profit you're getting from that armor. I mean, maybe Claris wouldn't have gotten the triple kill if he didn't have that 25 armor. It's really hard to judge how much of a difference it is making. But just a recap on the day, our first match, LW Red shockingly getting 3-0'd out by Runaway. So they will advance to the Group A winners match. And then, as you saw right on your screen, the meta, a bit more of a hard-fought battle, that 3-2. But they will be moving on to the winners match of Group B.
And if you're just tuning in, this doesn't mean that Runaway faces the meta in the winners match. This is actually a Group A match and a Group B match. So we don't know their opponents just yet. That's what we're going to find out tomorrow. When we go into Group B's and Group A's second matches. So MVP Space will face off against Afrika Freaks Red, and the Mighty AOD will face off against MVP Infinity tomorrow. So these two teams, these MVP teams, will not be facing each other as they are in separate groups. But we'll see winners, of course, of this will face the winners of today. And it should be exciting matches tomorrow. The big question mark for everybody is how well have the MVP teams improved, especially Space. And then Afrika Freaks Red, which was one of the teams that everyone was looking for doing well in Apex, wasn't able to make it.
Yep.
There's a lot of hype around this team, the same way there was around Luxury Watch Red. We might have a situation where Space upsets again, though. So anything could happen, especially based on what we've seen today. I believe, especially given the MVP's nature as a team, finding talent and proving it early on in the esport, I feel like that Group A match too definitely could go either way.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the Afrika Freaks Red squad is going to surprise us by performing way under what we expect, and maybe you'll just solidify, don't put red in your name. Blue is the way to go. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen with that one. I do think I have to give it over to Afrika Freaks Red, just because we know, historically that they've been good, and MVP Space has yet to really prove themselves at all. They were a winless team throughout the Apex split, so they definitely have a ways to go, and they definitely have a lot of proving to do tomorrow.
That they definitely do. Definitely looking at the whole list of teams for Apex, they definitely seem to be the worst performing. Definitely the weakest team in the tournament, but I have faith that they will definitely at least improve a little bit. But that is going to be it for us today for the Apex promotion matches. We'll see you guys tomorrow.